Hey guys, welcome back to Spooky Tuesday, a weekly podcast where we're breaking down all of our favorite slashers, thrillers, monster movies, and black comedies on the new scariest day of the week. I'm Sadie Thompson.
I'm Monica Height.
And I'm Chelsea Duff. And in honor of a very special episode, we have a special guest with us today. Sarah, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm so happy to be here. I am Sarah Gallagher, and you might know me as Sarah Elizabeth _talks on TikTok and Instagram. Hi.
Yay. Hi, Sarah.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome.
Hi, Sarah.
Thank you for having me.
Oh my God, it's an honor to have you here.
Thank you for being here.
I was instantly starstruck.
Stop.
It's very exciting because you are an expert on our subject matter today. And we're kicking off a special event that we're very actually, are we psyched about it or are we depressed? Because it's kind of in the title. But I think it's both because you can experience two emotions at a time, as I understand it.
So true. We can take multitudes. I've heard that.
Oh my God, duality of man. Okay, so we're sad but excited because in honor of the seasons changing, it's getting darker out. Sometimes you wake up still dark outside.
Ugh.
It's like you need a little drama. You need something to pick you up. What better to do it than werewolves, vampires, sometimes them fighting each other. So we're starting werewolf versus vampire seasonal depression event. Monica tried to say it really slow. It's actually kind of a tongue twister.
It really is. It's an incredibly marketable name. It's an incredibly marketable name.
It's a really good name. It's a really good name.
Demanding more from the name. But there's only one movie we could possibly kick this event off with that is really serving werewolf versus vampire and also seasonal depression. Really heavy on the depression.
The seasonal depression movie.
This is the depression. Oh my God, it's crazy. It is the Twilight Saga, New Moon 2009. And it is a very important film in the Twilight Saga franchise. So we're very excited to be here. We're very excited to be here.
We are. I'm so excited because you gave me the opportunity. Whoever decided that we were doing this, I don't know. I feel like it was a collective thing, but I reread Twilight and 96% of New Moon in the last 4 days. And I got to watch both of the movies. So I've been having a really nice weekend. So thank you so much for choosing New Moon.
Yeah.
Wow. You're really in it right now.
I'm really in it. And it's like, it's right back to 9th grade. It is just, I'm right there. I was kicking my feet. I was giggling. I was guffawing. And I was being disgusted yet again. So
yeah. This has been a long time coming for us. We've been talking about werewolf versus vampire month for a while, and we were like waiting to have what Sarah, we do this thing called Fifth Tuesday where Spooky Tuesday comes out on Tuesdays and there's usually a 4 in a month, but if there's a fifth one, it's a bonus gimme and we can do whatever movie we want. And one of our first ones we did Twilight. So we were like waiting to have another one in November because that's like the Twilight month, it feels like. That's when almost all the movies came out. Although I saw a Tumblr post that pointed out like very rarely featured in any of the Twilight books. Not a month heavily featured in the timeline other than one page where she's depressed.
One page.
It's not an important. No, Bella wasn't even with us during that November, right? So it's not an important month. Interesting.
But it is kind of the Twilight time of year. So it just like that felt right. But we didn't have a Fifth Tuesday in November last year or this year. And then I think at some point we went, oh my God, actually, we're in charge of the rules here.
Yeah.
It's a monster
podcast,
which we say in our intro. So actually we could do it whenever we want.
Yeah. It's scary. The depression is so scary.
Depression is
they
so
say the
We're
word
close to home.
Okay, when she goes to Emily and Sam's house, she goes, is everything real? All of the fairy tales and horror stories. So I think that she mentioned
counts.
horror. Yeah, that's our in.
It 100% counts. And some of that CGI for the wolves is pretty frightening.
It's
So
terrifying.
There's like
Yeah.
a lot of threats of murder going on in this movie also. So like that counts. There's like some
The
slashing
Volturi.
with claws.
the Volturi.
The Volturi kill a
Yeah.
bunch of people off screen.
Oh yeah. The
Mhm.
screaming.
Oh, the screaming.
Yeah.
Thinking about how Kristen Stewart had to film with Taylor Lautner in the green screen as the wolf. That's scary.
Oh my God, I
Yeah.
forgot about that. With the
Thinking about Taylor
I think about
Lautner
that all the
stress
time.
working out in the gym, trying to gain enough muscle to keep his role. That's scary.
There's some serious trauma and terror here.
Oh my
There's a
God.
lot.
Yeah.
But also this has the like gut-wrenching longing that I lived for as a youth, as a woman who never dated anyone all of high school. I really loved Twilight New Moon. I was like, her love has been taken away from her. That is how I feel personally also
My
as
God.
well.
My love has also been taken away because nobody's giving it to me.
At the same time, though, I was watching this movie and I was like, I think the other reason why I love this so much is because I too friend zoned a lot of my guy friends in high
Yeah.
school. So
Yeah.
I think
You're a real
duality
Bella.
of man.
They have to. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, ooh. But today I am dressed as Jacob.
Jacob.
Jacob. Femme Jacob.
Jacob wishes that his hair looked like that. Like
This
Taylor
is
Lautner.
I
my
don't know. It looks pretty good, Sarah.
Yeah.
there. It looks good long. I
Okay.
like his
Yes,
hair
some
long,
of the
but
wigs are not giving.
wig
His
is
wigs are
not
so
the
no,
best.
his New Moon wig is like way better than his Twilight wig, but
The Twilight wig was bad.
yours is
Twilight
so,
wig,
so
they
better.
didn't brush.
They didn't. It was Party
No.
City wig.
His hair
I
was
mean,
That was
already.
the budget
all
they
the
were working
wigs
with. That was all
in the
they
Twilight
had.
franchise are notoriously bad.
They had
Is it-
$1 in a dream. And then
Back
they made $1
then,
and they said, okay, we'll upgrade.
yeah, but then they got $1 billion and all the wigs were still fucking atrocious.
got
I
worse.
can't even. We did a rewatch of all the Twilight movies on New Year's Day last year. And what
Oh.
was the order that we did, Sydney? We did New Moon first.
Yes.
Because that's my favorite one.
Yeah, it's the best
Spoiler
one.
alert. It's the best one.
Me too. It's the best one. In the
We did
series.
New Moon,
Best movie,
Break-
best book.
Breaking
Breaking Dawn
Dawn,
Part
part
1.
2.
Or
Did
two.
we do part
Oh my
two?
God, that's
I think
crazy.
We
only
didn't
did
do part.
this-
We did
You
part
guys are
1 and part 2 in
crazy.
order.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
might have done Eclipse next, but that's what I'm getting to. Is that like I was like, oh, Eclipse is fun. No,
No, it's
no.
Yeah.
And everybody looks like fucking shit. They look fucking terrible. They look
It's
horrible.
a drag.
No one even looks that hot, and it's upsetting.
It's a drag.
So I don't want to
Tough,
do
tough
that one
movie.
on the podcast. I'm glad we're
We'll skip
doing
it.
New Moon.
We'll skip it.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah,
rereading Eclipse after I finish New Moon.
It's a good book. I think
Yeah,
it's a
the
good book.
is better.
Yeah, the movies. I do, and I'm in the minority in thinking that like Edward is like at his hottest in Eclipse, but people really hate that opinion.
With his sideburns?
Yeah, I love
Let me
them.
look. Let me look.
I love them. I'm in the minority.
Eclipse.
I love them. I think it's the only time that he looks like a vampire and not like an absolute fucking ghoul. Like
sure.
they
Oh,
got
I
his
think that's
makeup
probably really fair.
he got his makeup kind of right. He's not like obviously wearing like lipstick.
No, okay. I do like I'm not opposed to the sideburns, but I just think nothing can top. We watched Eclipse and then we watched Twilight afterwards, and I was like, he was so gorgeous in Twilight.
That's
and
his second
in
best.
Eclipse, they
Yeah.
fucking like the mutton chops, but in New Moon, thank God you don't see him that much because what the fuck? It's a classic. Oh no, girl, your face makeup doesn't match your chest or your
Absolute
neck.
train
It
wreck.
looks so bad.
And his lipstick is
So
like
bad.
his lipstick is so bright. Like I've talked a little bit about the lipstick that it was by Benefit. It was this shade called Ms. Behavin'. It's
Looking it up.
discontinued.
That's so
I'm gonna buy
slay.
that now.
That is so
No, it's
slay.
it's
Gotta go on
discontinued.
eBay.
You're gonna have to find it on eBay.
No!
But yeah, it's like
I'm
this
so
very
sad.
like berry color. In Twilight it looked good. In New Moon it really looked like he was wearing makeup. Like
No,
a
it
lot.
really
He's wearing
did.
that like old man suit. He's wearing that tweed suit that Robert Pattinson
Yeah.
insisted on wearing because he hated the Twilight peacoat.
He makes so many
God.
interesting choices. They give him a lot of leeway to decide things, which
I
is so
think
interesting.
They were
He's
just
got a
trying to get
beautiful
him
mind.
not to
They
quit.
said, please, please don't kill yourself. You can choose what the outfit is. We'll
Yeah.
throw you the tiniest little toe bone.
I know you
but
hate this so much, but
hated
could
it.
you
I
please
know the
say
suicidal ideation of this movie is very real for you, so we'll let you wear whatever suit
They
you
gave
want,
him that
queen.
suit. Yeah, he's happy with it.
this really is the
He had to be
suicide
business
ideation
casual
movie?
to dump.
He wears it for the
Oh.
whole movie.
It's like a
my
funeral
God.
suit, quite frankly.
It is. It's like
Yeah.
tweed.
Ah, that's actually on theme for
Yeah.
Romeo and Juliet as
Exactly.
well. So
Yeah.
I'm a Team Jacob girly, so honestly, I don't remember this suit from this movie, and I watched it 15 minutes ago. So I'm
It's
looking
not
up.
memorable. It's like a gray tweed
Yeah.
suit, and he wears like a blue. I think it's a blue shirt underneath it, and then like, but
Oh,
it's
at the birthday party.
at the birthday party. So yeah, he's dressed
Oh.
normally in the beginning, like at school, he's dressed normally, and then like when we
the birthday
see him,
party though,
Okay.
they're like fancy, so you can kind of like adjust. You're like, whatever doesn't stand out necessarily. The breakup scene, I was like, why is he
he's still
wearing
in
a
it.
suit?
It's been
Why is he wearing a suit? I
days
guess.
have passed,
Oh my God, maybe he's been in his depression hole.
Yeah.
and
His
then
depression. Well,
you
he's
see it again at the end when in
He's wearing the same outfit for
He's-
the whole 6 months.
yeah, and the shirt's
He's
ripped.
depressed, Monica.
I know, but sorry, this is a revelation. I
It's
didn't realize
crazy.
that, but I'm
It's
looking at the
crazy.
picture right now.
It's a crazy choice. He's lost the jacket, but he's like all like dirty in the shirt
And his nipples out almost.
Yeah, because it's been ripped across the heart because they thought that would be like symbolic. And the costumer was like, a shirt would never rip this way. And they were like, rip it across the heart.
It doesn't matter.
He's caught on a hook.
It's not about that.
Yeah.
It's about the symbol.
Have you ever heard of
Symbolism.
symbolism? It's beautiful, okay? So shut up.
It's crazy.
I think though the book haven't finished New Moon. I've read it before, obviously. Let's be clear. I haven't gotten to the very, very end of New Moon yet, but I will say for the most part, for the beginning, I feel like the choices that they make in the movie obviously move things along much faster. They take out days and days of stuff. I appreciate that Bella has a job at Mike Newton's parents' business.
Oh, I was forgetting about that.
Yeah.
I do think that is fun. But I get why they take that out. But I think that because they shorten the timeline, they also make the beginning of this movie a little less like mean to Bella because it is so agonizingly drawn out. It feels after like the first incident happens.
It goes on he lets her stew in it for days.
Days.
That's what people don't realize.
In the book, she stews
He's
for
so
days.
bitch-coded.
He comes over and he hangs out with Charlie and watches baseball with Charlie and doesn't talk to Bella.
And she's
I'll
like,
just be
something's really wrong.
downstairs.
He
Yeah.
would literally never watch a sport.
Just, like,
He
make
hates that
me-
shit.
He would never hang out with Charlie.
My stomach just dropped even thinking, like, she comes home from Mike Newton's like sports outfitter and she's like, oh my God, Edward's here. And he's like sitting with Charlie and like laughing with Charlie. When she comes in, he's like, hey. And then she's like, are you going to stay over? And he's like, no. And he leaves.
It's fucked up. It's so fucked up.
It's so bad.
And also, so like in the movie, we get the most dramatic moment of all time. Also, okay, I do love also the difference where they're like, oh fuck, we forgot that we didn't explain the Volturi in the first movie because we were keeping the scope small. So like, let us explain it really quick. And
I'll
I do
just drop
think
that I'm jealous of Romeo for being able to die really quick, and then we'll insert it that way.
On her birthday, he's like, I would like to
On
die.
her birthday.
could you not talk about
I'm-
killing yourself on my birthday? Like maybe. I don't
like,
know.
I thought about it once or twice.
I've tried before, but it didn't take.
It's so nasty.
See,
He's-
okay.
yeah.
It's
This
so
is
funny,
why-
Belle.
It's so funny. But these are the reasons why I am Team Jacob, because I'm like, do they have any fun? Do they have a single time when they have a fun
No.
time? I've
No.
never
Only when she
seen
becomes
it.
a vampire.
And then, like,
Yeah.
And then they
barely,
have so much
But then
sex
they
and
already have a
run in the
child.
forest, and yeah, so
Oh my.
but they
I-
don't need to take care of her. They've got 12 other people to pawn her off on, so it's fine.
yeah, I'm a self,
And also,
I'm like,
she's 15.
yeah, she's like born 15, but I'm a self-disclosed like unfortunate Edward fan. Like I like
Yes,
can't,
okay.
Yeah.
I can't
We can
quit him.
coexist.
But I do understand
me.
that like yeah, like I'm so obsessed with him and I won't ever get over him. But like, yeah, like I don't think that Stephenie Meyer is able to write them having fun. Like, especially in New Moon, there's like
Then
not
it wouldn't be
anything.
serious. You wouldn't be able to tell how serious their love is.
I think one of the reasons I like the book Eclipse is because there is like a little bit more levity in between them in that book, only because it's the only book that you get where like you kind of know he's not leaving, he's not going to go anywhere, and they like write flirty notes to each other and like stuff like that. But in New Moon, it's just
maybe
like
I need to reread that one.
He's such a drag. Like he's just like already thinking about leaving, and it's the juxtaposition between like Jacob's effect on her and kind of how her life has to be with Edward is jarring.
It's so
the problem
jarring.
with Eclipse really though is that it is like so rude to Team Jacob fans because suddenly he's a sexual assaulter. So
anything Stephenie Meyer and I could fight one day and it would be a great fight. I would probably win, I think. But like we're not talking about Eclipse because I'm just living in this world. Because that's the
really
other
bad
reason.
to him. Yeah, she's really
terrible.
Really bad to him.
Well, she built him up too much and she realized she made a mistake. She had to walk it back.
Yeah. She was like, "Oh, the Team Jacob people have a point here.
People are making
let me make both of her options fucking creepy, controlling weirdo freaks."
That way, it's a more balanced choice.
They can't help it. They're supernatural.
She really thinks that. She really thinks that she like gave Bella like a valid choice. Like she's talked about this, and it's like you set Jacob up. Like he was never going to win ever.
No,
like there was no way for him to ever win. Just keep him as a friend.
Literally, like it is so fresh in my mind how it was never a choice. Like it was just she was always like, oh, maybe I can learn to love him, blah, 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 blah.
She's always gonna love Edward more. Always, 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 always. Like there's just no way for
deserves more than that.
Yeah. They also have good discourse about that in this movie where Charlie's like, sometimes you gotta learn to love what's good for you, which is like very valid. Sometimes the really intense soul changing relationships that you have in your life are so high emotion because they're toxic and like
awful.
You have to move away, and it is a hard lesson to learn sometimes that like big emotions don't equate to healthy love. And you do have to learn to love what's good for you or learn that that is also what love feels like.
Absolutely.
But it just is a mess the way
that's
they
why
do it.
Pisses me off so much because I'm like, we're not talking about Eclipse. We're talking about New Moon.
Yes, we are.
I'm talking about New Moon. I'm talking about New Moon. Okay, like it's just like I get that it because it feels like hard, with Edward and there's so much at stake that it's like precious and you protect that, you know what I mean? But it's not bad that it's easy to have a good time with Jacob. It's really not.
No, that's part of what they do in New Moon that's so beautiful with Jacob too. Again, sorry, I am a little bit also Team Jacob. I'm like, obviously he's always going to be Edward for Bella. I knew it was.
We
Team
love
Edward
him.
for
I don't hate Edward at all. Sorry, I don't hate Jacob at all. I
didn't think that you did. But it's like in this movie, as opposed to Eclipse, which we're not talking about. In this one, it is so like it is just the thing where he's like, I do want to be with you, but I understand that you're setting boundaries in that capacity, and I just am sad and also have my own feelings. Like he's like, I want to be with you, but I'm not gonna. Yeah, he's like, I'm not gonna be a fucking freak about it.
He doesn't.
And then later he's like, I'd rather you be dead. So but that's later.
It's a huge switch because he really is kind of just like willing to be yeah, exactly right.
Sorry.
He is really willing to be like, I think he can tell that Bella's like going through, like Bella is like
go through
a psychotic depression she's just come out of, and that like she needs a friend. And I think he lets her know about his feelings, but he is willing to just kind of like take what he can get from her. Yeah. And he's just like a very positive person too. Like particularly
he's the son
before he goes through his horrible transformation that makes him angry and bitter. We got a very pure, like he's very pure. Jacob's like a really pure character.
And she does a good job of like being like, I know that you're into me and I wish I could give you that because I want you to be happy. And also I don't want you to leave, but I'm also being very clear about what my experience of this relationship is and what I think she views them as like her limitations are. I think it's okay to just like somebody else without being like, I have no heart left to give. But I like, it's okay that you don't like somebody. It's not a moral judgment on you or them, but she just doesn't like him that way. That's okay.
But she needs him there though.
Him.
And there is a part of her that I think that uses him a little bit, particularly in the beginning.
Yes.
100% she's using him. She's using him in Twilight too.
She uses him, he's a device in Twilight.
Explicitly in Twilight. I forgot about
Give me info. Oh my god, I'm flirting with you on the beach.
In the book, you're in her head, so she's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna flirt with him to get this information."
Into me.
In the movie, it's a little more up to interpretation, but in the
that's
book,
a toughie.
Like, I'm using him, and now I will use him now.
She's like, "Oh, I feel so guilty. I feel so bad." She tells Edward, "She's like, I tried to flirt with Jacob," and like,
what sign is Bella?
She's such a
slut. She's a Virgo.
She's
a Virgo, just like Chelsea.
Like,
okay.
Renesmee and I have the same birthday, Sarah.
9/11.
Are you a September 11th? Maybe my mom's birthday is September 11th too.
Oh my god, me and your mom and Renesmee, the three of us are like this.
It's a toughie. It's a toughie.
It's a toughie. That day took so much from us.
Yeah, but here's the thing: without 9/11, we also would not have this beautiful series. So we think everybody
9/11, My Chemical Romance, domino effect.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's very important. It's very important. Oh my god. Yeah, I'm just rereading and watching the movies this time around. I also forgot how much Bella thinks that she is a worthless piece of shit. And like, I guess it's because like she has such shitty parents because
she's the worst parents. Oh my god.
Parents ever. She's her mom's mom. For sure.
She's super parentified.
Renee is the worst.
Renee is the worst. She is hot. We'll give her that. But the other thing is that thank God for the movies because they made Charlie not an absolute piece of shit too.
He's such a gem.
Piece of shit in the book.
Movie Charlie.
In the books, he's
Charlie.
Awful.
In the books, he has no idea what he's doing. He's like,
can't cook pasta. Can't even cook pasta.
Can't even make pasta. Is like totally into Jacob sexually assaulting Bella. He's like, good for you.
Like, good for you for trying, kid.
Constantly trying to voice his own agenda, like Jacob agenda, onto Bella. And he's just like a shit parent. Like he only comes around to punish her. Like he's not around. He's like, I'm going fishing, gone fishing. Like, and they both need to be absent so that Bella can get up to like all her shenanigans. Right?
Sure. So some of it is just like plot relevance.
Yeah, but I don't think Stephanie Meyer, I think she knows that Renee's shit. She did that on purpose because I think for her, like a divorced woman is like the worst kind of woman, like a
sinner. Yeah,
but
that's her Mormon agenda coming through.
I don't think she knows how bad Charlie is at all. Like I think she's
just like, he's great. I don't need to do anything.
Yeah,
women are there to take care of men. So actually, this is a normal dynamic.
Exactly. He's doing the bare minimum. She's doing his chores on their wedding day. She's like doing his laundry and making him breakfast.
Outrageous.
But so outrageous.
Movie Charlie is actually incredible. And like I have
so handsome.
Oh, Charlie. Oh my god, Billy Burke.
Yes.
He's so
I'm
hot.
team
Also,
Billy Burke.
Yeah.
Speaking of Billy's, Billy from the movie, that actor, I don't have IMDb up,
Gil,
like a freak.
Gil Birmingham.
He's so hot. Oh my god.
You guys have you ever seen Yellowstone? He's on Yellowstone. He's so hot.
Oh my god, he's so hot. I was like, wow,
Billy Burke
this
is on 911 Lone
like,
Star.
That's right. He is on 911 Lone Star.
Do you watch 911, Sarah?
I don't. Should I?
Oh, no, but I love it. So maybe, yeah.
Wait, is that the one that Brian Safi's? Do you know who Brian Safi is?
Not off the top
like
of
a
my
comedian.
head. He's it for you.
He's a comedian. He has a podcast, and I think he might be on that one too. And so sometimes I'm like, should I just watch him just for this? I think it's Bryan Safi.
Oh no, he's not the regular 911.
He's on the other 911. Okay.
Yeah, he's on LA 911, which is just called 911.
You watch that too?
Yeah.
Okay.
She's a big 911 girl.
They're fun trash. It is Ryan Murphy's best.
Wait, Ryan Murphy does that
episode. I watched the Bachelor crossover episode with Joey Grassadang.
Oh, I'm obsessed with him.
One character.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, this seems like it's getting really gay between these two dudes, but I was like, but it's not going to. It did.
Wait,
So you should watch it.
did Joey play the bisexual?
No, he's just
No,
in
Joey
the
plays himself
beginning
on The
opening
Bachelor.
part.
Oh,
It's
I'm
But I'm like,
unfortunate.
that's Joey from The Bachelor.
I'm obsessed with him.
I am too.
Great.
I'm so obsessed with The Bachelor these days. Ugh,
So I assume you're
okay.
also watching Dancing with the Stars.
I'm actually not watching him on Dancing with the Stars. No,
Sarah!
is he doing well?
Yeah,
He's doing really, he's a really
phenomenally.
sexy dancer. It's
Dancer.
crazy.
You should watch his
really
Twilight,
good.
or not his Twilight, his Tarzan thing that they
Look at
did.
his
Oh, I
Twilight
saw that on
game.
TikTok.
Yeah.
He's such
Yes.
a green flag. Like he's just such a
Yeah,
nice
yeah.
He's
man.
like the best.
Yeah,
I'm
he's
like,
great.
I've always thought he was cute, but I was like, whatever. For me, it's about how amazing all these girls are in that season. I didn't usually watch. That was my first season, but now
Yeah.
I'm like, Kelsey's the
He's one
luckiest
of the
woman in the
very
world.
few actually good bachelors.
He's the
Most
best
of them
bachelor
are so
they-
trash.
No, they're off. Like they're
They're all
trash
terrible.
men,
They're
and
so bad.
he was so good. I couldn't. I've never wanted to date a single one of those fuckers. Like ever. Like I'm usually. I
And
usually
they're
just
kind of
watch for the-
ugly. They just have
Oh, they're
abs.
gross. They're not attractive. They have horrible personalities, and so I'm just watching like for the cringe of it all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And to
for,
actually
for the drama.
to be rooting for one of them was shocking.
Crazy.
Oh.
Crazy turn of
Life
events.
changing.
But yeah, Charlie in the movie's great. You already mentioned that scene when he comes in and like kind of soothes her after the nightmare and is like, you need
Yeah.
to.
Yeah. Like
Love
when you were a
what's-
baby.
Yeah, and he's just, that's so sweet. We don't get anything
Yeah.
like that. Bella doesn't have
No.
anything like that in the books at all. No one's looking
'Cause-
out for her.
In the books, and I mean, we have the most. Oh, can I find the pages? The most gut wrenching
Crunchy.
pages of all time. Oh my god. Okay, someone talk about something else.
Listen, people try to shit on Stephanie Meyer's writing. I shit on Stephanie Meyer a lot. Like I feel like I do. I really do. But I will never call her a bad writing. And when she pulled out those blank pages.
Oh,
Oh,
my god, it was revolutionary.
I like
She changed
screamed at the top
world.
of my lungs. I literally
She-
did.
Really did something. Like she real the idea that Bella, because she says something about sinking below the surface, and she says, "I
Mhm.
simply did not resurface," and
Oh,
she doesn't. The fact that those pages
Yeah.
were blank, and
Yeah.
I'm like an
Ooh,
elder.
I found them.
Oh, you found them? I'm an elder. I was like 27 when I read these books in 2008. I'm very old. I was an elder Twilight fan, and so like I wasn't a teenager, but I felt reading it. I was like, what do you mean
Transported.
what do you mean she's gone? Like, no, it's
Sarah,
like
don't worry,
it
you're
hit-
always a teenage girl, no matter how old you
No,
are. You
I
are
think
always
I've
a
proven
teenage
that.
girl.
It's
I think I've
called
proven that.
relating to your inner child. Okay.
I
It's
like.
good. It's good for you mentally.
She's never gone.
She's always
As-
there.
I was gagged. Like the first gagging for me of my life.
Look at that.
I did not
Ugh.
resurface. October. November. I was like, what do
November
you mean?
mentions.
October. What do you mean? November.
She's just
No, what do you
gone.
mean? December. What do you mean? January as well. Waking up.
Finally, she
Oh my-
breaks the surface.
Oh
And I
my
think
god.
what she says when she wakes up is incredible too. She's talking about time like lurching around like bruises or something. Like it's just like Stephanie
Mm.
Meyer.
Time
you're a
passes.
poet.
She put her whole pussy
Even
in
when
that
it
one.
seems impossible,
Right.
even when each tick of the second hand aches like the pulse of blood behind a bruise, it passes unevenly in strange lurches and dragging lulls, but it does pass, even for me. I
Bella's.
read a little bit of that wrong, but
No, it sounded great. I wouldn't have known.
thank you. Wow.
Bella's gone. Bella goes, and I will say that scene, they do the scene really, because how do you do that in a movie, right?
Oh my god! I was
Perfectly.
like, how are they going to
Perfectly.
adapt this before
Yeah.
the movie came out? Knocked it out of the fucking park.
I
It could have
couldn't-
been. Oh my god.
Holy shit.
Holy
The
Kiki Lee coming in,
Oh
stabbing me in the
my
fucking
God.
throat. I'm bleeding out on the floor.
The
from
music,
agony.
The
Oh.
goddamn music in this movie too. It's like, truly, I don't know what Chris Weitz is like really incredible. Like he did an incredible
perfect.
job with this movie.
This like got me to be an indie music fan. Like this is
Oh,
the
me
first time I
too.
ever
Yes.
heard Bon Iver and Saint Vincent on that one song on this, and then this was my intro to Leaky Lee. Like, oh
Yeah.
my god, this
Yeah.
movie made me cool, even
The
though I
Radiohead.
was bullied for loving it as a youth.
Weren't we? I was bullied at like 27. So
I love that we
all
have
went
that
through
It goes,
shared
it goes that way
trauma.
sometimes.
They really hated. They really didn't want
Okay, but
girlies
we're
to have
oh my
anything.
god. Okay, we're way not there yet. But when we get to our Knives Out of 5 segment, I usually intro with like the IMDb score and Rotten Tomato score. Bitches were haters. Bitches were haters for real.
I think that this.
Don't talk to me about that.
I can't
That's
remember
not
the
real
rating,
to
but
me.
I think this might be one of the lower rated Twilight
Which is
movies.
crazy. I think
Yeah.
it's just because like the first movie really introduced a lot of people to the saga who hadn't heard of
Yeah.
it at all,
Yeah.
and was part of what created the really rabid fandom. And so by the time the second one rolled around, people were like over it, sick of it. They weren't yet by the first one. They didn't know.
Yeah.
But the second one was like the peak of the hater era. And
It
then there was like
was.
enough time by the time the next, even though it was like, I don't know, only a year or whatever.
It wasn't
maybe
even a year.
years.
The next one came out in May
God,
of
that's
2010.
crazy.
They cranked them out. It came out 6 months
Well,
later.
I can also imagine like a lot of people, like 90% of people, they come to this series because they love Edward and they love that love
people might
story.
be-
And
I was
this
pissed off
movie
initially with
says,
the book.
"Go
Yeah.
fuck yourself." I was too.
What do you mean he's
I
gone?
was,
What do you
I
mean?
I was irate. I was
I
very
was-
emotionally unstable when
I-
I read this for the first time, and I was like, "What do you mean he's
I
gone?"
flipped to the end to see when to make sure he's gonna come back. Otherwise, I'm gonna stop. I mean, I was
This
very
series has moved on to a different love interest.
yeah. I was like, what the fuck is this? But like
They get a
I
new
fell in love.
monster, everyone.
fell
In
in love.
Eclipse, she falls in love with a zombie.
I obviously like really love these movies, but I think New Moon is the only one that functions as like a standalone, like actually good movie. Like, so
Yeah.
it's shocking to me that like I would recommend, like I'd be like, oh yeah, just watch this movie. It's a good movie. Like I don't think it's like
You don't think Twilight
ironically
stands
good.
alone?
It does, and
It's
as a
so
camp
silly.
classic, as it's
Yeah.
it's still,
Yeah,
it's a
yeah,
Twilight,
yeah,
an
yeah, yeah, yeah,
incredible
yeah. It
indie
is a
film.
comedy.
it is a
It's
comedy.
a comedy,
Right?
It's a
And whereas
comedy.
like New Moon isn't like funny.
New Moon is taking itself seriously.
yeah, and
They're like,
then
we're not fucking around anymore.
Chris Weitz came to work and said, like, I think we can actually take this a little bit more seriously. I'll love to Catherine
They said-
Hardwicke.
Catherine Hardwicke fired for not taking it seriously.
Yeah.
I almost
we're
met
dialed
her.
in now.
She almost meet her.
I almost met her a couple of weeks ago because she was. I live in Los Feliz, and there's a tiny theater, literally tiny, like the smallest lobby ever. And I walked by, and there are all these people, and I was like, "What's going on?" And they're like, "Oh, Catherine Hardwicke's in there because they just screened Twilight or something. It was some sort of like anniversary or something. I don't know if it was the anniversary, whatever it was.
It was the 15th. This year's the 15th anniversary of New Moon. So I wonder if they
I don't
they
know.
were doing Twilight.
I don't know what it was. I don't know. It was, it was some, or maybe it was another movie that she's done or something like that. But
okay.
she was in there. She was in there. And I was like, I'm going to go in there right now and I'm going to meet her. And then I went to open the door and it was like either a push door and I pulled or a pulled door and I pushed and I like rattled the door and it was really loud and it was so embarrassing that I left and I was so mortified. I had to leave. I was like, oh my God, I can't sneak into this movie theater to meet Catherine Hardwicke. Everyone knows that I'm doing something wrong and I ran
No.
away.
You should have
So,
gone in.
I know, but I really freaked myself. I think I was drunk. So I was like, I can't go. I can't do it. I had just had martinis, I think, at Figaro down the street. And I was like, I can't go now. I gotta leave. But I regret it every day. Don't worry.
I would love to like pick her brain. I'm afraid I've been sometimes I like say a lot of shit about her. That's the thing is that I can't actually meet and talk to any of these people because I think that they would really fucking probably hate me. And I
think
like
Catherine Hardwicke would have a good sense of humor.
I think so
about it.
because I've always said like all love, but like I've recently got into this thing of like showing all the deleted scenes from Twilight, and they're all so fucking
Oh
bad.
my
Like
God.
she's out of her fucking mind.
The
like
chinchilla poop one.
Yes!
I just saw that video you did.
Like we just narrowly escaped what she could have done and wanted to do with this movie. But I like think she's a mad genius. I love her. And I was interviewed for Rolling Stone last year, but they all interviewed us all separately. So like there's this Rolling Stone video. It's like a half an hour. You can find it on their YouTube of me and Catherine Hardwicke and Carter Burwell, who wrote the soundtrack to Twilight, and the music composer and the woman who sings ha, ha, ha,
Oh my God.
and
What
it
an
was
incredible interview.
it was the five of us, but we all got interviewed separately. So on the thumbnail, it looks like we're all together in a Zoom room, but I did not get to
I'd
talk
love
to
to
her
get you guys
or
in a
meet her.
round table.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
did
it's
not
the
get to
girl-
meet any of them.
That song is Eyes on Fire by Blue Foundation.
I
by
love
the
her. I
way.
follow her on Instagram. Like she's such a delightful, sweet lady.
She's got
and
a gorgeous voice.
she's like not in the band anymore. Like she's like not with them anymore. And I like want to start a campaign where we just like prop her up because she's that whole song.
Yeah,
and
that's that is the ho 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 a season thing. Maybe that's been going on for years that people have been calling it that, but I've never seen it more than this year. I feel like that just
it's
started
pretty new.
happening.
It started like last year. So it's new, and I love her.
The world.
She does. She does. She releases new music now, like as a solo artist, but I can't remember her name, and it's really hard to pronounce because she's Scandinavian and I can't pronounce her name.
We'll give it your best shot, Monica.
Her name is Christine Stube. Does this sound like I'm saying the right thing? Christine Stube. And then it's literally, there's a letter that we don't have in the English language.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
No, I'm so sorry. It's TEGLBJ, and then that letter where it's an A and an E and they're combined. That one, RG. So look that up. And you will find her. She's Danish.
Her. Yeah, follow her, listen to her new music. She's like a really delightful person, and I want to see her rise above and take back. But she spoke about it, the experience, and she's just like really lovely.
Wow, that's awesome. Well, I mean, it's not awesome that she had some sort of falling out with Blue Foundation.
She didn't.
But
I like dug that out myself. She didn't talk about that in the interview at all. But you can see that she's not with them, and she makes her own music.
She does her own thing.
Yeah.
Well, good for her because she's so talented, and it's one of the most iconic songs that came out of all of these soundtracks. I mean, I don't want to spoil my thing I'm going to talk about later on in the film, but I recently went to Italy, and boy, did I make my fiance take me to Montepulciano, where they filmed this, and I passed Volterra, the actual Volterra. But anyway,
lucky.
We drove through Tuscany in the rain, and I was like, we're listening to the Twilight soundtracks. And he loved them. And who wouldn't? Who fucking wouldn't? Because they're all so really great songs. But anyway,
my husband loves them too. They're
absolutely magical experience. 10 out of 10. Go to Tuscany in the rain and listen to the Twilight soundtrack.
We went to Montepulciano a couple years ago, but it was me, our friend Alex, and then a bunch of 60 and 70-year-olds, and they actually refused to reenact Twilight with us, and we were very upset about it.
I reenacted it. I'll talk about it when we get there, but I have a lot of things to say. I have special merchandise as well.
Oh my god.
Adam wouldn't act as Edward though, which was very rude. And I understand that.
His tits out.
Yeah. The issue was that there were only two of us, and the idea of me asking a stranger to film me doing this, I could not do. We could not do that, but I'll send you the video, Sarah. You'll be very moved by what
I love it. I want to see it.
Okay, well, back to New Moon really quickly because we've got a lot to cover. One thing I just want to comment on really fast is the fact that in the movie Mike Newton, the second that Bella is like, I'm not depressed anymore, or I'm at least not depressed enough to speak, he's like, let me ask you out, moment one.
Oh, you're healed. You're healed.
Are you healed?
You want to go to
the movies? Want to go out with me right now? Like, what do you think? That little
should we make it a group thing? You guys want to come? He's like, oh.
Yeah, and she says she wants to go see Face Punch.
Great movie name. A romance, maybe? She's like, what about Face Punch? What was it called? Love spelled backwards is love.
Yeah, the titles are really funny.
Really bad. But then like the dialogue in that actual movie theater is like what you can hear is so fucking funny. He's like, I'm gonna shoot you in the face if you don't stop. And he's like, no, I'm gonna shoot you in the face. And then somebody else is like, I'm gonna shoot both of you in the face. I was like, oh my God.
They did leave a little humor in this one for us. They still left a sprinkle.
There was a little bit of humor. And there was a little rom-com too, because all of the fucking montage with Jacob and Bella working on the motorcycles together.
When she throws, I can't remember if the pizza. If the pizza turns into a wrench or the wrench turned into pizza.
Yes. Pizza to wrench, because that's what's really crazy is she just throws a slice of pizza.
And let's never forget, where the hell have you been, Loca?
Oh, when that I screamed.
The way he delivered it surprised me actually when I heard it this time around, because it's like the bin is really the emphasis in there. Where
where the hell have you been, Loca?
Yeah.
Like, whoa.
That makes sense to me. I would put
No,
the
it makes
emphasis
perfect
on that.
sense.
Yeah. He really likes to Taylor Lautner's a very cutie boy, a great actor in many regards, but his phrasing sometimes throughout this movie, I was like, interesting. It was unique phrasing.
Interesting
Sometimes
choices.
he gave really good sad face though. So
He's so sad. He's so nice.
Yeah.
I love him. I just feel like I would, we would have a really good time together. And that's my whole reason for watching and reading Twilight is to become Bella. It's like self-impose myself into Bella. That's why I have trouble with her sometimes because she doesn't value her own life at all in any way. And I can't relate to that.
No,
so that was a little bit of a push point for
she's
me
a
being
thrill
her.
seeker like you, Monica. She's
this one
trying to be an Aries.
Yeah, I know. She was really trying to cosplay as an Aries in this one. She's like, I'm an adrenaline junkie. And I was like, no, Jacob is giving Aries energy the whole time. And I love that.
Because she wants to hallucinate.
Yeah.
I love that that's like the plot of this whole book.
It's
Like,
so funny.
Yeah.
It keeps me up at night. Like this, Bella needed psychiatric assistance like more than anybody has ever needed psychiatric assistance. She goes catatonic for months. And then when she gets out, she's like, I'm having, in the movies, she's visually hallucinating as well. But in the book, it's just auditory.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, so
good adaptation, I think, probably.
Yeah.
Include Robert Pattinson as an actor.
Yeah, they needed to put him in there, but
we're paying him $1 zillion. Yeah,
I think it became confusing for people who hadn't read the. It's also confusing in the book, by the way. Even in the book, I was like, "Is he teleporting his voice?" Like, I couldn't tell whether he had a special power.
He can read minds. Is this a
Yeah,
tangent of that?
No, I think it's very confusing.
It could not occur to me that this poor girl was ill enough that she was now having auditory hallucinations, but that's the truth. And in the movie, I think it kind of looks like he's a ghost. Like it looks even more like he's portaling himself.
Especially the way he like.
I like that he's like smoke though. I like that. That was an interesting visual choice.
Oh, they did a great job. But when you're kind of like, is he like just kind of like appearing? But I think when you then realize like Edward, if he knew any of this was going on,
right,
he would never allow it. Like he would have come back. So he's not real.
Or send Alice to give her a good talking to or something.
Yeah. Well, I mean, here's the thing, like having just reread Twilight and almost done with New Moon, like, can we talk about how Bella like kind of has like prophetic psychic dreams?
Yeah, and nothing ever happens
and
with
nothing
them.
ever happens with that. It has nothing to do with her power that she gets later. She has the grandma dream. No, but she like puts everything together in her dreams. Like she has the dreams with where her nightmares that recur is her in the forest and she's screaming and she's alone or whatever. But then like she'll see Sam Yuli come up and like, he is the guy who saved her in real life. But then she like sees a wolf also. Like she's putting it all together.
She puts it together in dreams.
Yeah. And I guess she already has the information, but it feels like beyond the information. I don't know.
This is the Stephanie Meyer self-insert of it all since Twilight came to her in a dream.
Oh my God, Chelsea. That's really interesting.
Stop.
That is
so good at
wow,
movie
Chelsea's
analysis.
so smart. Chelsea's so brilliant.
God. Stop.
I've had so many people ask me what's the deal with her dreams, and I'm like, I don't know, like because it never gets followed.
Stephanie Meyer trait.
Because she's not prophetic. Like you would think that she could maybe see the future when she turns into a vampire, but it never circles back.
Alice is already doing that.
But she figures out, and even we have him like breaking dawn in the book.
When she's her best ideas come to her.
She has visions of the baby that she's gonna have.
Yeah.
Or like that she thinks it's gonna be a boy.
She is wrong, but
Hashtag boy mom. Yeah. Didn't happen for her. Did not happen for her. She's wrong.
Yeah.
But that's honestly really incredible because maybe because that truly everything, it wasn't like it wasn't Gerard Way, right? Like she wasn't writing Gerard Way fan fiction. Like truly this all started because of a dream. And so now Bella figures all this shit out in her dreams all the time.
Yeah.
It just makes so much
thing
sense.
that I think is
That's so crazy.
interesting to go back a little bit to like Bella's trauma and like true mental health crisis in this movie that I don't think gets talked about enough, and I don't think I even really appreciated until like in the spring. I was on our other friend's podcast and we did all of the Twilight movies, which for me, we had to go through all of them so fast. I need 2 hours to talk about each movie. But
you did all one episode?
Oh my God, they were like, it felt, they're very good at that. I'm not very good at that.
Yeah, no, I know. I could never.
I was
oh
like,
my God.
this is 10 hours of movie, you guys. But the thing that I didn't appreciate until I did my rewatch then is it's not just that Edward leaves, although again, I think the Stephanie Meyer of it all, I think she thinks it is all just that Edward leaves. It's also that she had this horrific trauma that she went through in the first book where she was stalked and somebody tried to kill her and they psychologically tortured her by being like, I have your mom captive. And now
Victoria's still out there.
Victoria's still out there. Not just Edward is gone. All of the Cullens are gone. There's literally nobody that she can talk to about any of this trauma that she experienced. She has nowhere she can process any of this. She had to push it all down immediately right away to be like, Edward, don't leave me. I'm fine. This is no big deal. And now she's like waking up screaming in the middle of the night alone in the forest. Like,
and Charlie in the book doesn't give a shit.
He doesn't care. And I also think, just to add to that, because you're right, like anyone that she could talk to about this gets ripped away, and like,
and they go into floorboards and take out her pictures.
They took out all her shit. She's being gaslit.
Full gaslight her.
No, that's the thing. That's why I couldn't like get back on the Edward train fully after this, because I was like, I could never forgive, because Bella is me. Of course, as I already said, I could never forgive him for that.
And also first person protagonist trap. So that too. That's like really puts you in there.
But I also
who I am when I read these.
She's also really kind of obsessed with becoming a vampire, and that gets ripped away with her from her too.
Yeah.
Like all this, she thinks all the supernatural magic is gone.
Right. She didn't value anything about herself, but she thought maybe I'll be special if I become a vampire. And now it's not only do you have to live normal human existence forever, therefore you'll never be special, but also I am telling you directly, you mean nothing to me.
Right.
Yeah, Edward kind of sucks when
I don't want you
like leaving.
Obviously, we know what he's doing, and he says later, like, "Oh my God, it was so hard for me to nag you like that."
It was the darkest. It was the darkest lie.
I couldn't believe you'd believe me. Like, the only reason he ever possibly thinks he could get away with that is because he can't read her head. Because if he could get in her brain, he would know that she's gonna spiral. She's gonna immediately walk further into the forest.
Have you been paying attention?
Prepare to die.
Here's the thing, he does know, because Alice shows him in Midnight Sun, and that's the toughest part.
God, maybe I really didn't get very far.
At the end of Midnight Sun,
and I forgot that.
At the end of Midnight Sun, when Bella's in the hospital, he says, I'm gonna leave. And Alice says,
that pissed me off so much.
No, it's gonna look like this. And he shows her,
it's gonna be so bad if you leave.
And then he does it.
Well, he's like, what's wrong with her? And Alice is like, she's just not like doing well. And you see like emaciated Bella basically, and what Edward thinks to himself is, well, she's like a teenager. She'll get over it.
Get over it. Yeah.
Yeah. He's not like, oh, she's gonna stay in this. And who knows? Like maybe
but she's actually severely mentally ill.
Depressed.
Yeah, and he knows that. He thinks all the time in Midnight Sun about institutionalizing her. So he knows that she's on. Oh, he constantly wants to lock her up. When he says
I blocked Midnight Sun out.
Midnight Sun is the wildest ride. When
I could not be in Edward's head, I could not do it. But maybe animated series will be enough distance for me to do it.
When she guesses that he's a vampire and is like, okay, cool. He's like, I am gonna put her in a hospital. She'll have the best care. I'll get to see her like 365.
I'll visit her. I'll visit her.
He thinks about locking her up like all the time, and then he's like, she'll get over it when he sees that she actually is gonna go catatonic. He's really dumb. I mean, that's the thing.
He's like so dumb.
They're both dumb, which is why they're so perfect for each other.
Yeah. Here's the thing. He's just a 109-year-old, 17-year-old boy.
Yeah.
That is the thing that they drive home with the immortal children is they don't develop after they're frozen. So he is 17 years old forever in 1,000 different ways.
It's tough.
And also a boy.
And also I think he's also a grandpa It's
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
He was always a grandpa.
He's lived for a long time. Something has developed. His brain hasn't developed, but also like
His
he should know
hormone
better.
levels are still stuck at 17.
What does aging mean though? I mean, like, or like, what is, how do we gain knowledge? Like, how do you
Is
develop?
it life experience?
Is it brain
Yeah.
development or life? Because he's had a shit ton of life experience.
Yeah.
But he hasn't,
But he's
well, I don't
also
know if
only
he's
goes
not
through-
taken a lover that whole time.
He
Didn't
has
say
not taken a
something?
lover. No, he most
Is he a
certainly has not.
virgin?
He's
He's
a virgin.
a slut.
That's how they're able to have a baby.
I just got
Saving
confused. I'm
himself
sorry.
for true love.
I just, what's that part
No.
with Tanya? And he's like, she had
Well,
a body like a woman. And I was like,
Oh,
did
no,
they
that's
fuck?
Siobhan-
I don't
that's
remember.
Siobhan.
Yeah, that's the Irish lady.
That's
Oh,
Siobhan.
that's who it is. It's Siobhan.
But Tanya
That's who it
wants
is.
him. Oh, he's had people who wanted, and he wanted Siobhan more than he ever wanted anything.
But he
had to turn
didn't.
away
Buried it.
from it.
He buried it.
He was waiting till marriage.
She said, no.
He's
was
a
already-
virgin.
Well, he probably met Siobhan earlier than that.
He did.
but
He met Siobhan.
He was married
like,
by the time she came back around.
in his second year of being a vampire. He met Siobhan. And he was
Oh.
like,
See?
he was like, I was hard pressed to know where to put my eyes. Like, the
Oh my God,
passage-
he's hard, all right.
the passage in Midnight Sun is so unhinged when he's looking at her and he's like, she's aggressively female in her body. And oh my God, like, and
You're making
yeah.
me kind of want to read Midnight Sun.
You should. It's
You
really
You need
funny.
to read Midnight Sun. Yeah.
It's so
no. I had a
unintentionally
great
hilarious.
time.
It's so funny.
I was
so
when it
funny.
came out, I was like TikToking my experience of reading it originally. And then at some point I didn't want to be on camera and I just never picked the book up again.
It's like you don't have to be on camera
No,
to
just
read
read
it.
No, you
start-
do.
If you think of it as like the funniest thing you've ever read, like then
And
it
I
really
did.
hits.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really
Well,
funny.
Well, Sarah, you always talk about these things that I never feel like I can remember. And maybe a
Yeah,
lot
that's
of
your
them's in
brain
Midnight
protecting
Sun.
you.
Yeah. But just like the little novella about what the fuck is her name?
God, that's the
Britannia.
worst.
Vampire Girl.
What a
Is
flop
that
of a
shit?
book.
Where's the hair thing where the hair breaks off?
It's in that. It's in that.
It's in that. Okay, that's why I was
That's
like, what the fuck?
that's when we learn that, like, well, she also says it in the illustrated guide, but like if they get their
I have
hair
to read
ripped
that then.
out, if they get their hair ripped out, it's never gonna grow back. They can't
Bald
reattach
spot
it
forever.
But and it's because there's one like idiot in the Brie Tanner book who is like fucking around, and because they're all newborns, they're all fighting with each other, and her name is
Right.
Sarah. She gets her hair ripped out, and Bree is looking at her, and she's like, that's gonna leave a spot because she's not gonna be able to read. Because I think Riley rips off her arm and like rips her hair out, and so she like reattaches her arm, but then like Bree's like, that's 'cause she's gonna have a bald spot. And so that's
so
how I was like,
stupid.
oh my God, all their hair is probably Jasper probably has like no hair.
That's why they all wear really bad wigs.
Yeah, wigs. Yeah.
Wow, actually,
it's actually
it
canon.
wasn't the
It actually makes
movie, It was
sense,
actually
actually.
just the character.
Yeah,
That's the
that's the
thing.
theory.
Here's my thing. Another reason why I'm Team Jacob is because I know you don't get to choose to become a werewolf in this world, and we'll get
Mhm.
into the whole
No,
werewolf
it's actually forced upon.
stuff.
They
Yeah,
hate it.
Yeah. But like I would not want to be this type of vampire, even though they can like go out and
No, it
in the
sucks.
day, and that sounds great. Like all of the cool, sexy parts like fucking don't exist. And I think it's because we have a bunch of fucking Mormon vampires on our
Yeah.
hands here. And so they're not fun, but also like your hair is gone forever. Are you kidding me? I don't like also that they break apart into stone. And I
Yeah,
don't
they
think
break
that
apart in stone. They
it
can't
doesn't
sleep and they
also-
can't eat.
yeah, they can't sleep, they can't eat. Doesn't make
Can't
sense
even sleep in cotton.
because
No.
Arrow's skin, like I just read that part 5 seconds ago, is supposed to like look like crazy paper and blah 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 blah.
Because
And I'm like,
they never go outside. He just
Yeah.
sits.
but how is he a stone that looks like paper? It doesn't make sense. And I would rather hang out with the werewolves.
And they're
That's
also-
what I would want to do.
Ice fucking cold.
Yeah. And I remember one of my favorite TikToks of yours is the bowls when they're clinking together.
Yes.
And-
Oh, that killed me.
But I have a question for you, Sarah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like we obviously cover in the universe that these are actually shapeshifters, not
Yes.
werewolves, and there
Yes.
are like the wolves of the moon or whatever.
Yeah,
I
they're-
feel like I saw a TikTok. I don't know if it was yours or something else, or also possibly it is misinformation and made up. But is there a hint somewhere in the universe that like there are real, more traditional vampires out there as well? But this is like a subset creature.
No, but I have said that we might as well
you've
believe that as well.
speculated?
Yeah. I'm
Okay.
like, because I think that they seem more like fairies, like fae, than
Yeah,
actual
I know a lot
vampires.
of people with the sparkling. I know a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's like, are we going to find out that somewhere out there, just like there are real werewolves that turn under the moon and all this stuff.
They're like the children of the moon. What are they called?
Yeah,
Something
they're
like
called the
that?
children of the moon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because like your stereotypical werewolf, they're like beholden to the moon, and that's when
Yeah,
they turn and they
that's
walk on their
totally
hind legs and
different.
all that stuff. Yeah, maybe somewhere out there are also like vampires with actual fucking fangs that like burn in the sunlight and can't have garlic. I don't know.
Yeah.
Don't all have special powers.
Yeah, they don't.
Dude.
I
Also,
love
like,
their special powers though. So fun.
I know.
When Jasper's like, I'm gonna make her like her birthday present.
God.
Fucking God,
Oh, that was
Jasper.
one other thing that I wanted to say earlier. In the book, Bella has the camera just like she does in the movie,
Yeah.
but she like pulls it out because she thinks like in those days where she's like something's gonna happen after the Jasper shit went down. She's like, oh my God, I better take pictures of my whole life because Edward is gonna make us leave together
She
and
thinks she's gonna
leave
go.
Forks.
Hmm.
And so I better take pictures of everyone that I know here so I will have the memories. And
She's
so
ready to leave it
that's why
all.
she's taking all these pictures because she's preparing to go. And then he's like, I don't want you.
Not
I'm
you,
leaving
though.
Not you,
without
bitch."
you. And turns it around on her and is like, you're just not good for me. Oh, sorry. Very upsetting.
It's
Yeah.
terrible.
Yeah.
Also, okay, just so we don't forget to talk about it because it's important.
Okay.
One of the most egregious failures of Stephenie Meyer in the entire series is the way that she describes Native people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. And it needs to be said.
Terrible. And so, yeah, it starts with this. I mean, it starts really with the transformation, right? That it's a real tribe.
They're
real
dogs
tribe.
and they smell bad
Yeah.
and they're angry and mean and dangerous.
Yeah. And that anger and meanness and danger comes directly from their being native, right?
Yeah.
Because it's their being native that it's genetic. It's forcing them to transform.
It like I read this great article that's like synthesizing a lot of like long works about the representation of natives in Twilight, but like it goes into these like 3 different specific stereotypes that it does. It doesn't do like some of the more like classic native stereotypes you might be familiar with, like braids and fire and stuff like that. That's super fucked up and overt. So some people might be fooled and think that it is like, good representation.
Oh my God, it's such good
but
representation.
It's not.
Everybody had to have real native ancestry except for Taylor Lautner.
It's like class. They go into like these stereotypes, like the Cullens are really rich and all of the native people are like super. Jacob can't fit his bed. He has like 1 pair of pants. That's talked about all the time.
They've turned it into like a socioeconomic and like race war between like this Native American tribe and these like 90% white people. Like
they all have broken homes. None of them
vampires.
have 2 parents. None of them have 2 parents.
No, that's
single
so
one
true.
of them.
So true. And it's the stereotype of like the magical Indian. That's like a known stereotype that they have this like magic innate in their blood. They're shapeshifters or like there's a Navajo term of skinwalkers. That's like sort of what was the inspiration for what Stephenie Meyer did. And then there's also apparently the stereotype of like the romantic savage, and this is in scare quotes. That's the stereotype, what it's called, the trope. And where like that's Jacob, like his one focus is Bella, like his whole life like revolves like around her and pleasing her. And like you were saying earlier, Sarah, like, oh, he'll take what he can get from her, which is not very much.
Yeah.
And then there's the other trope, which is the ignoble savage. Again, this is another trope where this is where the like domestic violence shit comes up, and that they're so unstable and they're like fueled by rage, and that like
I'm a monster.
this person that was safety to Bella, Jacob was safety for her after her whole world gets ripped out from under her. Now she's getting her hallucination Edward even when she's just talking to him because like he's so volatile, again in scare quotes, like he could blow up at any moment, and what happened with Sam and Emily could happen
Sam
to
and
Bella.
Emily.
And it's so fucked up watching this again with adult people eyes, you know.
And the Quileute tribe, they have an origin story, and Stephanie Meyer researched them and inverted the story.
That's actually not what happened. I actually know what happened, and I'm gonna put it in my book, and it's gonna involve something a little different. So,
oh my god, what is the actual
so creative
story
with it?
It's just that they were descended from wolves.
Oh, okay.
I don't know that they published the whole story. So there's this really great website that the Burke Museum in Washington helped the Quileute tribe set up called Truth versus Twilight. And so you can go there because they had to be like, we don't imprint. Like we don't like
we have
do you know
normal
the fact that they had to debunk that is crazy.
People just are so stupid. People are really stupid.
Yeah. And so it has like, I think, I can't remember if it has their origin story in there, but Stephanie Meyer talks about in the illustrated guide, like, oh my God, she couldn't figure out how to get Edward to say he was a vampire in Twilight. Like she's like, he will never say that word to Bella. So she was looking around and she was like, oh, there's like this tribe. I could use this in my book. And so she invented Jacob as a device who could tell Bella the legend.
Wow.
Well, because like I think you've talked about this before. She didn't really plan for any of the middle books at all.
No,
it was just like what was the ending originally called? Not Breaking
Forever
Dawn.
Forever
Yeah.
Dawn.
Oh yeah.
So there that whole conflict, love triangle thing that came later as the series got expanded.
So Jacob was meant for two things: to tell Bella the story so that she could figure it out, and to imprint on Renesmee.
So that wasn't the original plan. I'm gonna kill myself.
He wasn't like he wasn't he and Bella just weren't as close. Like they never fell in love. They weren't really friends. It didn't happen at the birth. He came around to Charlie's a couple weeks later and then imprinted because that needed to happen, or else
she was 5 years old by then, so it was totally appropriate.
It's fine. The wolves would have killed Renesmee if Jacob had it imprinted. So for her, it was like, I always I want these two to have a fucking baby. Because God,
they have to have a baby.
That's why you're on Earth.
To be sad and alone forever, so she also needs a supernatural partner.
Who are the two saddest women in the Twilight Saga? Rosalie and Leah, childless women,
of course.
Wow.
Of course. Have they ever thought about getting cats?
Yeah,
have
great.
they ever thought about being lesbians? Also, could be
Listen,
fun.
Leah
Leah
getting a cat.
Also fun. Yeah. So,
God damn it.
I'm
so upset that Renesmee was always part of her plan. I want to die.
I can't talk about that enough.
You
about
have
her
to have a
name.
child or your whole life is worth nothing, Monica.
She literally was like, she ended Twilight and immediately started writing the horror story that was like the marriage and the birth. She was like, baby.
Yay!
Like,
well, because it's very normal to get married at 18 and
super normal
and have a baby.
Yeah,
I know people who have.
She didn't give it a second thought.
And her editor, the publishers were like,
wait, what if we built up to that?
I love editors. I love editors.
Yeah, but they still kept Renesmee in.
Why did she name her Renesmee?
There was could have been anything else. Could have been Carly.
It's really hard for me to
Charlie.
It's really hard for me to even say the name because I like never say it.
No, you say
I don't.
and I think that's
so many
funny.
creative substitutions.
I don't want people to get confused though.
Yeah.
But yeah.
If you hear any word that is starting with R and then you're like, what the fuck? That's Renesmee. Oh, it's so fucking terrible.
But yeah, so
that's another thing with the Native American tropes though, is like, oh, and they fall in love with babies.
Yeah.
And they think that's fine and they'll just groom them until they're old enough, and that's also fine.
I mean,
I'll just be around telling her that we're gonna be together one day until she turns 16. That's good enough, right? And
which is like 3 years old.
And also, yeah, if it takes her 3 years to turn 16, that's not my problem.
I'm only 19 at that point, and it's fine.
Yeah, I'm only
Right.
19, and I was 16 when I fell in love with Bella, and she was 18. So actually, I love an age gap.
He's a child, and they're all enslaved as well.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not Jacob's choice to be imprinted. Like, we see a foreshadowing, like Quill imprints on the little baby in Eclipse.
Yes.
And she's 2. She's Emily's niece. None of them choose this.
Like,
no,
they don't have choices.
They don't have choice
the
to be this
thing.
creature at all, which makes them lose control over their emotions. The way he's like
And that's
so scared
another-
of this cult in the beginning of the movie.
Oh my god, so
It's another like poor portrayal of the natives too. What they're like enslaved to this thing that is out of their control, that their agency is taken away because they have to become these wolves and stuff. And so that,
and I feel like
also
Stephanie
is
Meyer
terrible.
thought she was subverting things with that by being like, okay, yes, it's feeding into bad stereotypes, but actually that's only happening because the Cullens are here. So
yeah,
like,
it's the white
not a
people that make
reflection of
them do
them.
this.
Yeah, it's actually about how colonialism is bad, and it's like, okay,
I don't think she
I don't think she thought that.
she had no idea. She had
She
no
wasn't
idea.
thinking about
'cause
that.
It's true. People call them the colonizers, right? It's
Yeah.
absolutely like a colonial metaphor, but she didn't know.
She's
like,
like,
I'm
that
just
one accidentally.
She's like, I'm doing a vampire werewolf like rivalry story. Had no idea.
At least though, even though it's all really bad and it sucks really bad, remember that part in Twilight when it shows the Cullens in old timey clothes?
Yeah,
that
that was great.
Rosalie has that fucking bob.
Absolute
and the
slay.
little hat. Yeah. So
Yeah.
at least we
We
get
got to do that to see them do the treaty. Yeah.
They did so many fun things in Twilight, and then they kind of abandoned that concept of filmmaking in this one because they fired Catherine Hardwicke. But it is still a very good movie, and it's so beautiful to watch because it's so like warm toned.
It's gorgeous.
Yes.
This
is so beautiful.
cinematography.
And the way
Yeah.
that Victoria's hair, the way Chelsea, your hair glows, like it looks so beautiful. And
Mhm.
I love the montage scenes in this are so beautiful because they're like
This movie
gorgeous
is the king of the
music
montage.
videos.
Yeah.
It's the queen. Yeah, like the montage, like once we figured out what's going on, like Laurent
Yeah.
dies. Laurent's there. Okay, and then he dies.
And then he's
sucks.
gone.
I love Laurent.
I do
love Laurent
too.
He's really hot.
That
Yeah.
actor is such a king. He's such a good actor. If you see him in other
He
stuff.
really is. No, he's super talented. And I was like, and you were also in this.
He brings
but
us a little something to the role.
He does.
He's
he
got
brings
that
some extra
sprinkle.
spice.
Mhm.
Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna
Sad
try
to
to
see him
find
go.
his name.
And it's like he has
Oh,
like
it's,
a whimsy to it. That's
It's
really
Eddie.
nice.
It's Eddie Gathegi. It's spelled Edi, and then his last name is Gathegi.
Okay, cool. Shouts to him. Oh, I found him. Oh, he's so handsome.
I know, he's so great.
How does he like in his profile picture on IMDb? He has one of the fucking like chin strap goatee things, and it looks hot on him. Weird.
He's so hot.
He's got the
that's
bone
how you know
structure to
he's
make
hot.
anything sexy, terrifying. But yeah, I mean, I loved that. Like,
There's that sick montage where they're like all out hunting Victoria, and like Bella's
Yes.
like the stuff she's like emailing her. It's like one of her emails to Alice. She's constantly emailing Alice.
Yeah.
And there's that Radiohead song, and it's like such a sick, and Victoria's like up in like the trees, and her hair, she's like so scary.
Charlie and Harry.
She's so scary, and she's so stunning.
She's so stunning. I'm sad. I mean, I don't know what y'all think about this, but I'm always mad that they recast to Bryce
It's
Dallas
terrible.
Howard.
Yeah.
I like Bryce Dallas Howard, but
yeah,
that
it wasn't her
woman-
fault.
Yeah, what's wrong with bring her
What?
back? Oh, wasn't like Bryce
Rachel
Dallas
Lefevre
Howard
got,
like
like,
dating
fired?
someone?
Oh,
Who,
was
what
that it?
Wait, who?
I'm gonna fast cut that
He's
before I say something
speculating.
fucked up. No,
Bryce
I read
Dallas
that.
Howard was what?
We're starting
Dating
rumors here on
someone.
the podcast.
We're starting rumors.
No.
Why was she recast? Do you know?
So yes, what Summit's story was that they needed her to shoot at the beginning of the film, that they had like a really tight shooting schedule, and that she had another commitment, and like I guess they told her she could do this, but she couldn't rearrange her shooting schedule on the other film, and so they let her go.
Boo.
And she's talked about it a little bit. It seems like that probably isn't what happened.
It's always the narrative that I recall was that she was fired, and I almost feel like she hinted that they never really asked about her schedule. They just like put out that
They wanted a
story
bigger
that there were
name
like
'cause it was so
scheduling
big.
conflicts.
Yeah. So I don't know if it was just that the role was going to get bigger in Eclipse. And so I did, oh God, I did share this deleted scene of her the other day.
Oh my God, I watched that video
It's
that you did.
terrible.
Oh,
Like,
that was so
so
bad.
here's the thing. I don't know if I love Rochelle. I love her, but I don't know if I don't know what would have happened if she had more lines, because in this scene,
She serves face, but
it is an and there's a lot going on in the scene to make it bad. There's and it's a scene that was deleted from New Moon. It's supposed to be like when Bella's telling Jacob, like, she's after me, like, and then she's like, my friend isn't home. She's trying to call Bella, and she has two humans in the car with her, and she's just like prattling on about James. And I think it's supposed to be like both sexy and scary, and it is atrocious.
You need to watch Sarah's
neither of
videos
those
on
things.
this. It was,
and so I don't
it
know.
was hard to
She doesn't
like. You
have
were
any
great.
lines.
It was hard to watch.
She doesn't have any lines in. Does she speak in Twilight? Maybe a couple lines.
She's like, hello, maybe.
And I don't think she has any lines. She says, I'm the one with the wicked curveball, correct?
Oh, yeah.
That's it. I don't think she has any lines in New Moon.
No.
So like, I don't know if Bryce Dallas Howard
chops.
I've also heard rumors that Bryce Dallas Howard was originally considered and couldn't do it.
Oh,
so
okay.
I don't know. I don't think that Bryce Dallas Howard, and I think a lot of people hate on Bryce Dallas Howard for that. I don't think she had anything to do with it at all.
Okay. Well, then she's innocent. I think she's very cute, and I love.
She's a
Lady
very
in the
good
Water.
actress.
Yeah.
She's a very good actress. But once I saw that deleted scene, I did wonder if maybe people were like,
maybe.
But I don't want to spend. I don't like. That's just my own.
We'll have to watch her other work to find out for sure.
Yeah.
But I did love the way it all, like, how it comes together, and like I think it's so frustrating too in this movie how Bella like treats Jacob when she thinks that the wolves are killing all of these people, and how she's just like, why are you doing this? Like, I love you, but why are you doing this? And then like when Edward was like, I killed people for 10 years and I killed 1,000 people, she was like, oh, cool.
She's like, that's fine.
Yeah.
Hey, but you had a really good reason.
She's like, I love that for you. Yeah. And she's like, he's like, what, am I not the right kind of monster for you? And she's like, you're killing people. She just assumes that, like, Jacob and his pack is killing people.
Which
I questions.
Sort of a little bit understand the jumping to conclusion, because she's been hearing for months now that the wolves in the woods are killing the hikers, but it is
that's right.
Weird to like
the bears
give
bears.
Edward such benefit of the doubt, and then absolutely no benefit of the doubt for Jacob. Absolutely none. She knows Jacob's character, like Edward she just met basically, but she loves him, and so he can do no wrong. Jacob, she's been besties with him for a long time, and she jumps right to, you're hurting people on purpose.
Yeah. Wait, so are we officially talking about the part of the movie where Edward's now, or not, sorry, fuck Edward, sorry, Jacob is now a werewolf?
Yeah.
Are we there?
We're bouncing around. Why not?
Okay, you guys keep talking, I'll be back.
She said. Okay, well, since
we're
in a fun intermission, can we talk very briefly about maybe my favorite part of this movie, and that is the insane on-screen chemistry between Bella and Carlisle at the beginning.
Oh my God, it's so
the
good.
way her hand cups his elbow, or like his ribs or whatever.
The way they're talking to each other, it's just like, she doesn't have this with Edward.
It's the most chemistry between two people in any of the films.
Yes. I was watching it today and I like rewound it and I'm like, I'm going to watch this again.
It's incredible.
Carlisle, the sneak Eclipse romance. He comes in book 3 again.
The body language, the way that he's like, the way their bodies are positioned. And it's just, I just feel like unequivocally people are like, that scene is so hot.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. It's the sexiest scene in any
If
of the
she's
movies.
already gonna date somebody who's almost 100 years older than her, it might as well be somebody who's 400 years older than her.
I mean,
At that point, what difference does it make?
I know.
And he's only like 22 in human years or whatever in his timeline. Oh my God! You
It's
guys
not.
It's
It's not you. It's me.
I bet you couldn't answer the phone.
Human, Loca.
My God.
Like just like a lesbian.
It's amazing.
But I love
like Kris
it.
Jenner.
It's really good.
It's giving
It is
Kris
really good.
Jenner. Should I look sad?
I'm not angry though. Too.
I'm not a good
Good actor.
guy, Bella.
I'm not a good
I
guy,
used to be a good
Bella.
kid.
I used to
I'm
be
not.
I'm different now.
God.
Anyway,
I
I'm
also
plating
love,
this all day.
obviously something that they can't do in movies because it would be hard. But I do love that, like in the book, isn't Jacob supposed to be like 7 feet tall?
Yeah, he's like 6'7".
He's 6'7". He shoots up to 6'7" between Twilight and New Moon.
Yeah,
I know.
What?
That's why they wanted to recast him.
Yeah.
And he had to like kill himself in the gym. Meanwhile, Robert Pattinson, they painted on his abs.
Poor Rob. I do think Rob.
He said, "I'm not doing a single crunch."
I don't think
Good for him.
So Rob has talked about his own like body dysmorphia that happened after these movies because I think like when Taylor like did go to the gym and then showed up like that, Rob was like, "Oh fuck!" And so then he like really tried for Breaking Dawn, but just like couldn't get abs, and then would like binge eat in the mini fridge because he was sad.
No,
I
oh my God.
That
You
is
so
so
hurt
relatable,
everyone.
I know. I don't know that everybody can get them.
Yeah.
Not
But
like
I
that,
know
at least.
he wasn't going as hard as Taylor, and he wasn't made to. I mean, no one should
Yeah.
do that.
No
Taylor
one should
wouldn't have
do
done
that.
it either, and it's fucked Taylor up in
He's
terms
fucking
of his own body.
Claudia. Yeah. Poor guy. Ugh. Yeah.
I really respect that when he did the Batman, Robert Pattinson was just like, "And I'm not working out."
Yeah, he's
I'm
also
not
a
doing it.
huge liar though, because he did.
That's true. He is a liar.
We love people who
Love
love
to
to
lie.
I joined the circus and
the
et cetera,
circus.
et cetera.
Him telling Matt Lauer that he like saw a clown explode and die at the circus is one of the best things I have ever fucking
he does
seen
absolutely
in
love to lie.
my life.
That's so funny. I've
Matt-
never heard of that.
Matt Lauer is like, do you like the circus? He's like, well, I only on the Today Show. He's like, well, I only went one time, and it was like kind of bad because the clown died. And Matt Lauer was like, people start laughing, and Matt Lauer was like, are you serious? He's like, yeah, his little clown car exploded. And then someone asked him in Germany the next night. They were like, we heard you saw a clown die at circus. He's like, I made that up. I made it
love
up."
him.
Yeah, I'm obsessed with him.
So
He's like
much.
the most chaotic
He is
person
an
in the world.
icon.
So chaotic. Oh my God.
And when he did his microwave pasta or dry pasta or whatever that story was.
I have done so many dramatic readings of that, and people have asked me to make it.
He's so magical.
you went.
And I love
There are
him
some
and
lines.
Suki Waterhouse. I think they're very cute.
Oh,
I'm
that
obsessed
video
with
that
them.
they just like posted
Yes.
of her, and I was just like, "That's how all men." Hello,
He's so
darling.
nice.
Like,
He's
hello.
so nice
He's
to
like,
her.
"Oh,
so
good for
sweet.
you.
And he's
That's
like,
great."
he's like, that's an interesting development. And you can tell he has nothing to say. He's like,
She's like,
wants-
for us, we could do it together. He's like, "Oh,
darling, are you
Oh.
mad?
Darling, are you mad?
The greatest thing I ever did at 15 was become a Robert Pattinson stan with the Harry Potter movie. I was like, I will love this man until the day that I die.
oh,
And
I was obsessed with
it is
Cedric." Yeah,
correct.
God,
He's so
who
sexy
amongst
in that
us?
one too.
He's really hot and
he's
he's really funny.
pink-cheeked.
He's
so
funny.
cute.
And he does fucking, that's why I love the two leads of these films more than any other film ever, because they've like gone on to have such like authentic, like
They have.
cool
They're
ass
both
indie
they're
darlings.
Yeah.
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 I love their shit. I love it
Yeah.
so much. Like
They're heroes.
he was the heron and the boy and the heron.
I know. He's
He went,
great.
Like
Also-
he goes full freak.
If
Yeah, he
you,
does.
He's such a freak.
he is, and if you've never seen Good Time, his little
I
so
still
like,
good.
haven't.
it's one of the greatest movies ever, and it is like all over the place, and it just scratches an itch in my
He's so good in
horrific
it.
ADHD brain that I'm like, this is it. This is my brain.
I've always wanted to see it because there's that like the peak moment for Pete Davidson. He went
Yes, I
onto
was just
like
thinking-
Fallon or whatever.
I just
it
was watching that today.
Yes. And he took the entire time, instead of promoting himself, to promote the film
This
Good
movie?
Time.
Yeah, because Rob was there. Rob was sitting next to him in the next seat.
Oh,
Yeah.
was he?
Yeah.
Why don't I remember that?
He came out, and because Rob was there, instead of promoting his own film, he was like, "This man's in a film called Good Time."
And I want to talk about this movie.
And it's really fucking good.
Yeah.
That's so fucking funny.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Maybe
where
we'll
are
do
we?
Twilight Actor Thriller Month one year.
Oh,
They've got a
that'd be
lot
great.
between them.
Yeah.
I'm down. I'm very down.
Something to
One
think
thing
about.
to say about Kristen Stewart in this movie, though, she looks stunning. That's
She's
it.
the most beautiful
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
She looks so stunning. She looks so gorgeous. She was so beautiful in the first one, but like such a little baby, and then in like 6 months became a fully adult woman in this one.
She's
It's
so
crazy.
gorgeous.
She's stunning, crazy, crazy beautiful. Good, and real hair, and a real hair on her head.
So it's
which
real
really
hair.
helps.
All her
Really
hair.
helps a lot. Oh my god, I don't know if I'll last the whole episode with this wig on. I like can't look at myself. It's horrible. Anyway,
I like it.
thank you so much.
Cut
Once
your
again,
hair,
I just
queen.
want to triple down that I would hang out with the wolves over the vampires anytime, because their parties seem way more fun, and they
Yeah.
have big
Yeah.
muffins.
Well,
And it just
also
seems like
Rosalie
they're-
is giving off such constant hater energy, and also Edward is a downer 100% of the time,
He's
and
always
then
a downer.
Jasper is just being a freak bitch in the background.
I
So
love
And Alice
Jasper.
is tons of fun.
a
and
lot of them are
Alice
just like
love.
not bringing anything to the equation over at the Cullen
Yeah.
house.
It's mostly Alice that keeps it all going. And Esme seems like a love. And Carlisle, like y'all were saying,
That's
is
her
so
power
hot.
is love.
Yeah, her
Yeah.
power is love. And Carlisle's power is attracting people with the last name Swan. Because when you guys were talking about how there was
Oh my
sexual
God.
tension between Bella and them, I was just thinking about the Charlie Carlisle
Oh yeah, I'm
love and lore
yeah.
that I really want to get into. I just like with rereading Twilight, I was like, oh yeah,
Charlie loves
down
Carlisle.
He's a big
Oh,
fan.
yeah.
Carlisle.
Yeah.
He's a
He
big
ended his
fan.
friendship with Billy for a second there
Yeah.
over his love for Carlisle.
He's like, stop talking
So,
shit.
well, it was also
like,
too
oh yeah, we
like
haven't seen each other since that fight. And I was like, oh my god, what happened in that fight?
also when Bella's like in the woods right after, and somebody's like, and the Cullens have left, and he's like, "What do you mean they've left?" He misses Carlisle.
I'm calling him right now.
Carlisle, where are you?
So fucking
What do you
funny.
mean they're not there? I'm calling.
Oh man. I think the most beautiful part of the movie for me, even though it's so fucking stupid, like I too have wanted to jump off of a cliff, but never in jeans and in my shoes.
and
Right?
two shirts.
Two shirts.
Really
She
gonna weigh
takes
you
off her
down.
bracelets and her jackets,
right,
but
she does
not
take it.
her shoes. Like I'm like, I love that bracelet.
There
I
are
realized
rocks
that
in the water, Monica.
This is something I bought with my own money that I didn't think about having it be
Oh!
a Twilight ring, but it is a Twilight ring,
It
and I did not realize
is!
that. And I've had this for years, and this is just like her bracelet. And I
It
was
looks
like,
like
why
her
do
ring
I
and her
just-
bracelet.
Like, why do I?
You're such a big
Wha-
fan,
I
Monica.
think I just loved
Wow.
it so much that it
No,
was
they're
in my
good.
subconscious, and I bought it. But I did buy a crystal heart necklace from SeaWorld one time because I thought it looked like the crystal heart that
Edward gave.
Edward gave
Edward
her.
gives. Oh my god,
Yeah. Yeah, so that was on an authentic. That was on purpose. This was an accident.
I love that.
But like, do you know what happens when you get jeans wet? They weigh like 400 pounds. They weigh
No.
like
Yeah.
400 pounds. Has she ever gone in the water? Like, I don't know.
She does not seem like a strong swimmer either.
No.
She gets in there
No.
and she's a real flop.
I guess she's been doing a
Yeah.
lot of hiking lately. Like
That's true.
in the book, at least, they were doing like a grid pattern to try to find the fucking meadow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's when she finds Laurent after like 15 hikes. I don't know. The timeline is a little confusing.
It's just like so much is going on, and like we find out that Harry Clearwater's like had a heart attack and died, and Bella's like, I gotta jump.
Yeah.
do it
And
right
Victoria is in the water.
Victoria's
Oh my
right
God.
there.
Does that make more sense in the books? I don't remember. I
No.
feel like
No,
Oh, okay.
she's not in the water with her, I don't think.
She is.
right?
She is.
she
I
is?
just read this part earlier
Mhm.
today. So what happens in the book is that they're like, oh yeah, we chased her to the water, same thing, but she's better in the water, blah 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 blah. And that's said at one point. But basically, as Bella is like being pulled out of the water, like half dead, she sees like, whoa, there's a flame on the water. What's
It's
that?
Victoria's head.
It's her head, which doesn't make sense because when red hair gets wet, does it look red? No, it looks brown.
Her hair is
as
so red.
in the film.
her hair is so
just
red.
keeps it above water and she goes like this and she just paddles over.
But Victoria doesn't get close to her though, right?
No, she's still far away. And it's like a plot point that lasts much longer because everything's more dragged out in the book. Not always for a bad reason, but like she's like, what was that flame thing? What was that flame thing? And then finally she was like, oh, it was Victoria.
It actually scared in a dream.
Probably.
No, yeah, maybe.
I found that really scary. The idea of like almost even scarier than Victoria swimming right up to her. The idea that like she just saw her like flame colored red hair like on the horizon of the water as she's being pulled out. It's like, girl,
she has the revelation where she's like, oh my God, if Sam Yulee hadn't been there as well in that moment, she would have come on shore and murked me and Jacob right then. Because Jacob was like giving her mouth-to-mouth resuscitation and she was obviously incapacitated, but Sam was there. So that's like said explicitly in the book.
But why does she jump in the book? Because in the movie, it's kind of just like Jacob is busy.
Yeah, no, it's the same
motorcycle away. Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah.
She wants to see. She wants to hear
my boyfriend. Yeah.
She wants to hear him. It's the only way she can hear him. She says, "I can't hear you any other way."
Yeah,
that's
true. She's like, I'm gonna do that. And then
I'm gonna push it. I feel like I again don't remember, been a long time. In the movie, it's like she has that one crash on the motorcycle, and then also she and Jacob have their falling out a little bit. So it's like the motorcycle has been taken away. I feel like in the book, it's like she just gets desensitized to the motorcycle. As
she gets really good at riding motorcycles in the book.
Yeah,
which is
that should have
hot.
been a better plot point.
I know.
At one point, like
she should have ridden scooter through Volterra.
Right. Doesn't it at one point they like don't want her, and so they say, oh, she fell and hit her head with a hammer, and like nobody questions this at the hospital.
In the first one, they say, oh, she fell through a window.
That's
in New Moon,
like Bella.
When
even her mom is like, that sounds like her.
When that first part happens, when she hits her head on the rock or whatever, the first incidents, they say that she tripped and fell onto a hammer. That's exactly what they say. And then she gets another concussion on a subsequent trip, and like somehow they're still keeping this from Charlie.
God. Well, he's not paying attention, so I guess it's not.
He's not home. No,
he's not. He doesn't care about her, so it's fine.
But also, when the hospital
and he's not hearing from Carlisle. Like Carlisle is not his go-between anymore. So he's like, I actually ignore all calls from the hospital. If it's not Carlisle calling, I'm not interested.
It's too painful to receive a hospital call now.
It's too painful. Can't answer the phone.
Oh, man. I just forgot how much I feel when they almost kiss all those times, though, Jacob and Bella.
In the car?
In the car, when she's so cold and he's so warm. Like, I would rather have a warm man. I don't know. I'm sorry. This is when it all comes out.
And then Alice pulls right up. Get into that. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
but things go so fast after he pulls her out of the water. Like you forget like how much it is a speed run after that.
Yeah, they're in the car and like they're about to kiss, and she's like, "A call in car!" She's like, truly, she's like, "Alice here." She's like, "Bye, see you later."
That's why she was so excited after that first scene.
She's like, thanks for all your help and support, Jacob, but I will see you.
I gotta go.
I see you because I'm going.
You were actually just my backup, and I'm putting you back on the burner.
Like she's done.
But they make Jacob a better person in the movie, I think. In this part of the movie, I don't know about all the parts of the movies. I haven't rewatched them all right now, but like he in this whole instance with Alice coming back is way more drawn out. It's like over like a couple of days in the books, which I totally forgot about. Like Alice and Charlie are like chatting about how depressed Bella was, which is an interesting conversation. But like, Jacob leaves. He's like, oh, there's a vampire in there. And she's like, I bet that it's Alice. And he like leaves and he like goes home. And he doesn't like come back in that same night to be like, I needed to protect you no matter what. Like he fully.
No, he says, I can't protect you if she's here. Bye.
Exactly. Yeah. And then he literally does leave. Yeah. So they make everyone a little bit nicer in New Moon. But I think it's better that they make it so quick. But in the book, they make it more clear that it's 100% Rosalie being a cunt that leads to all of this.
Yeah,
And they
Rosalie,
don't make it as
tired of
overt
being
in the
depressed.
movie.
She's dead. Move on.
like that is truly what she calls Edward up in like Rio or wherever the fuck he is, and because there's an outtake on Stephanie Meyer's website where you can read this because it's not in the book, but the conversation, she's like, "It's all over now, Edward. Like you can come home." And he's like
We're done with that.
She truly thinks that he's gonna.
All.
No, she does. She just doesn't get it. Like she's not even trying to be vindictive. She's just like, can you now like come home to us? And
which is so crazy. You think she'd be like, finally, Edward's gone.
Yeah, I like, I guess she wants him.
It makes Emmett sad.
Probably.
Emmett doesn't have anybody to play
Edward.
Xbox with, so.
Yeah, I mean, there's love
that's
there.
That's my brother. Yeah, that's my brother.
So, Edward calls the house and Jacob picks up the phone.
And Edward cockblocks their kiss. There was very steamy maybe kiss that could have happened. No, it wasn't meant to be.
It wasn't.
I can dream.
Because we know in the book, Bella's like, can I actually do this? Like, I like him, but like, it'll always be less than Edward. But like, what if we just kiss? It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. But so yeah, Edward calls. Jacob thinks it's Carlisle.
Yeah, in the book.
That he speaks to on the phone?
Yeah.
In the book, Edward says that it's Carlisle.
Oh.
Yeah.
And yeah, Jacob's like, he's planning a funeral.
And that's
for Harry.
For Harry.
Let's just take a moment to think about how poor Charlie. Because in the movies, at least, he loses two of his best friends in 1 year because Waylon was his really good friend.
That's right, Waylon.
Too.
Yeah, that's right.
And that doesn't happen in the
Harry's
book.
Gone.
Yeah, and then Harry is his homie for sure, and then he's gone.
And then Bella takes off.
His daughter takes off while he's in the midst of grief, and he has to worry that she's dead.
Yeah, and after
again,
she left
third
him
time in a year.
Yeah, after she left him in Twilight, being like, "I can't be here with you," and then she just disappears again.
And she disappeared
in
the forest.
Episode. And yes, it's like she already has history of running off and then lying down to die, and now
it's literally like only been a year since she left to go to Phoenix. Like this is
and
like
they give
happened
it like
literally
1 second by him just when she comes back being like, "Don't do that again," and she's like, "I will." Like this man was going through it.
Yeah, no, he is.
Poor movie Charlie. I feel nothing.
Book Charlie deserves it. Yeah.
Book Charlie probably had no idea she was gone realistically.
Dude, can you imagine though being Jacob, like almost kissing this girl that you really think it's gonna happen with, and then she's like, "Actually, I have to leave the country to follow my ex, like
save my ex
right now." But to him, he's like, "How could it be this serious?" He's being dramatic. He's gonna kill himself, and in Italy, okay,
which he like works for me. Quite frankly, solves my problem.
And Edward is 1,000% down to do this.
Oh yeah,
like this is.
He's like, I have been dreaming about suicide for almost 100 years.
He's not fucking around.
I finally got the perfect plan. I know how to do it this time. Can't believe I didn't think of it before. And honestly, excited to put it into play.
Yeah,
100%. Yeah. So
have
the
been
next
longing
part
for the sweet release of death for years.
Yeah, the next part of this movie, is so near and dear to my heart for many reasons. First of all, I would like to show you my shirt. This is merch that they sell in Montepulciano inside of the clock tower. It's
oh
the
my
clock
god,
tower,
it's amazing.
And then it says New Moon, and then it says Montepulciano. And they also have like a gorgeous like wooden book of New Moon that has like the words of the scene on it. They like engraved. I have a picture. I'll send it to you.
Okay.
But it's like a wooden book, like on a pedestal with like vines going up it. It's very stunning. So they love their roots there, their Twilight roots. But another reason that this part of the movie is near and dear to my heart is because, and I think I might have said this on the podcast before, but I'm not sure. But we revealed in our last episode that we went to school with the Olsen twins. Well, also, I was in the same grade as Dakota Fanning. And I'm from LA. These things happen sometimes.
Wow.
And
LA private school.
I invited almost everyone from my class to my Sweet 16 because I was very nice and I cast a wide net.
Real sweetie.
And so I invited Dakota, and we were not very close. We had like one interaction ever in English class, and it was when I turned to her and I was like, "What'd you do this weekend?" And she was like, "Oh, I had a sleepover with my best friend." And I was like, "Oh my God, so cool. Who's your best friend?" And she was like, "Oh, Kristen Stewart." And I was like,
Stewart. They were super close.
They were
Those
super
are the
close.
runaways. Also, yeah.
Yeah. And so that was like that's like the extent of it, but like whatever. I invited her. She couldn't come, and she was very like formal because she was a child star, you know. She's like used to being around adults. She sends me a note, like a letter, and in it she was like, "Monica, I'm so sorry I can't come to your Sweet 16. I'll be in Italy filming this part of Twilight Saga New Moon." So this part of the movie is that Dakota Fanning couldn't come to my Sweet 16.
This is such a serve. This is
Monica sacrificed so much for this scene.
Right? No, it's literally fine. I would never have expected her to come, literally ever. I don't know what would have happened if she had come.
I'm filming New Moon in Italy.
Not that I was like weird to her or anything like that. I was just like, simply, we did not run in the same circles.
No, but I'm glad she was nice.
Monica.
And she gave me a gift card to American Apparel, and that was the first time I ever shopped at American Apparel, and that sort of became my personality for a while there. So thank you, Dakota, once again.
What a lovely person.
She's super sweet. Super sweet.
Yeah. I love that. And you know what? It was worth it because she serves as Jane.
She serves as Jane.
All of them. Like, I love Michael Sheen. Like the Volturi are fucking. They go so hard.
And that's the guy from fucking Stranger Things.
Yeah, Campbell Bower.
Yeah, I love Campbell Bower. I never realized that.
They have such crazy backstories for all of them too, though, which are all in the illustrated guide, right?
They're incredible. They all have.
I need to read the illustrated guide. I'm gonna do that like immediately after this.
Yeah, it's incredible.
But I just love the drama of like a romantic like running to each other thing is always good, but this is like
gonna hit
insane. It's like what, St. Marcus Day, which is like celebrating the day the vampires were cast out of Volterra.
Yeah, Marcus is literally inside.
Yeah, it's so funny, and everybody's wearing red capes and vampire fangs. Like it's so good. Much, but it's so good and it's so beautiful.
And her like going in slow motion. It's just shot so well. The fountain.
It's shot beautifully. And the fountain is fake. That's why I had a really hard time finding the power at first. Because I didn't realize the fountain was fake. And I was like, what the fuck? And then I looked up and I was like, oh.
Someone just recently told me that. And I could not have been more shocked.
I know, right? They did a really good job.
Point in the book that she splashes through it. They're like, we have to have it for the
book.
It
is because she can't get through, right?
She can't get to him.
Totally gridlocked, and then she sees this like break in the crowd, and she's like, "Oh, I'll go there." And there's a break in the crowd because there's a fountain there.
I'm so glad they made it. Honestly, like it's like one of my favorite shots in the movie.
Yes. And the drama is so much more drama because there's water splashing everywhere. Come on.
Yeah. I know Montepulciano's like old and stuff, but I think they should build the fountain.
Yes.
Have they even thought about it? Did they even take it into consideration? Yeah.
Cars drive right through that part, so I don't think that they can. Like that's like
they could go around like a roundabout.
Oh my
Everybody loves a roundabout. Classically.
It's so spectacular too. And here's another point where the movie is less torturous than the book because like she grabs him and he's immediately like, I was lying. I always love you. You are my one love. And they passionately like make out like hell yeah.
Whereas in the book, it goes on like she refuses. She thinks that he was just doing this out of guilt the whole time. And like even when they're home, he's like trying to convince her that he like actually loves her, and she like won't believe him. So
it's so sad. I got just to the part where they're on the plane ride home, and she's like, "I can't sleep on the plane because these are my last hours."
Disappear.
And she's drinking Coca-Cola because she can't have coffee because she's Mormon. She's Mormon coded. And he's like judging her. He's like, "Wow, Bella, watch out for that caffeine."
You know what's also something
She's like, that's exactly what I'm doing this for, bitch. If I close my eyes, you will not be here when I open them again.
Yeah, that's what she thinks. Yeah.
I'm going to Salt Lake City this weekend.
You are?
I'm going to Salt Lake City this weekend for my friend's baby shower.
Are you going to go to one of the like soda places?
I did watch The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives.
I'm obsessed. You gotta have to go to SIP. You gotta go.
I'll tell you I will
give you a full review. I'll give you a full review. Yeah, no, I didn't really think about how prepped I'm gonna be for Salt Lake City after reading these books. Oh my god.
The Waikiki is really good, Monica.
Okay. I'm excited.
Monica, look for this t-shirt that I just saw on Twitter from Salt Lake City, and it was rainbow, and it said SL, UT, Salt Lake City. I was like, Salt Lake City, I didn't know you were so chill like that. So keep an eye out, and if you find them, I want one.
Okay,
I love that.
Ooh, oh my god, I'm excited. The one thing I didn't get to do in Montepulciano is I didn't get to go to the like caves that they filmed the spooky underground Volturi shit.
The tunnel.
Yeah, you had to like have a reservation. I don't plan ahead. What the fuck?
No, fuck that.
But I do love how spooky that whole part of this movie is. Like the one hot human woman who like is the secretary.
Yeah.
To lure them in, yeah.
And also, this is where you really start to see how when they fight, they're marble.
Yes.
And I still hate that. The fight scene was
cool,
but
crazy.
I was like, ugh.
Yeah, he breaks. His face cracks.
Yeah.
Which that's not in. They don't fight it all in the book, so it's not in the book.
Yeah. I think this was added in.
Yeah.
I also watched the extended edition, which has 10 extra minutes, but I was like, I'm not sure what's in here that's not in the normal movie. Maybe scenes are just like a little bit longer. I'm not sure.
Was there a weird dream sequence? Was there a dream sequence that was like super long and weird with like caterpillars and stuff?
No.
I know. I've seen.
Was there in the regular one? Is there a scene with the neighbor where he's putting the motorcycles out? Because I have Twilight New Moon.
Okay,
that's in the book.
I own that one too. The extended thing.
That's new.
Yeah, in Twilight New Moon, the board game, which I'll pull out for you later. There's like a bunch of trivia questions on some of them, and one of them I remember when I played this with my friends was like, "Where does she get the motorcycles from?" And I was like, "From the junkyard." And then it was like, "No, from like neighbor Bob." And I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" So I very much noticed it when I watched it this time around.
No,
but I was like, I don't remember this scene.
That's new.
That is not a 10-minute scene, so
there's got to be other stuff in there. I need to get my hands on that. I've never seen it.
I want to buy it from the like, and it's also on like Apple and stuff like that. That's like what it is.
Was it?
Can I say how obscene was it that Twilight? I mean, maybe you guys own it. Why wasn't Twilight streaming anywhere right now?
It's not. They took it off
yet.
People complain about it all the time.
In a few days when it becomes November, but like that's outrageous to me. It should
always
be
off sometime this year, right? Wasn't it?
They did.
Because I own them on New Year's Day,
I don't have that problem.
Yeah, I watched them on February.
Yeah.
I bought
nowhere right now.
New Moon.
Outrageous! It's our time of year.
Hopefully,
and I
soon.
wanted to go.
I think they might be coming to Netflix. They were like when I tried to look for them the other day, because people ask me all the time, like, where can I can't find them, and I'm like, because they're nowhere right now. And Netflix had it bookmarked, like it was like coming soon. So I think it'll be on
November
Netflix.
1st. I have to assume.
Let me see what it says.
Again, it is our season. But yeah, I mean, I was like, if I'm already having to rent this, I might as well get the extended edition and just see what's in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's super fun. Oh my god. I can't believe that I forgot about the vote part of this movie also.
Insane.
When she gets
It's
home
so funny.
and she's like, "You won't make me a vampire? Well, I'm gonna make." I also would go crazy though if like we just had this near-death experience and this very scary man with magical powers was like, "Okay, you have to become a vampire and then we won't kill everyone that you love. But if you don't become a vampire, we will kill everyone that you love." And then Edward's like, No, but
No
I'm
worries.
still not gonna do that. Actually,
I am not convinced.
He's like, we'll get around it. The
yeah,
fact he thinks he can get
look,
around it.
No.
Your
But-
soul is so important to me that I will sacrifice your father and your best friend and your mother and your stepfather and Jessica and Angela and like all those people can die. That's fine because your soul is so important to me.
I mean,
well, he's like, no,
Bella doesn't
I'm
care about them,
smarter
though.
than them. I'm like, you weren't smarter than them this time. Alice was smarter than them, and she wasn't even. She just appeased them. Like you would
Yeah.
have died, sir, without your
And
sissy there.
Alice has already said that she would do it.
Yeah,
Like, I don't know. I can't remember if that's in the movie or not, but in the book,
Yeah,
she
it
said,
is.
like, I will do it if he doesn't
Yeah.
do it. So, she wins the vote.
Yeah.
And they all live happily
Then
ever
it
after.
comes
and
down to timeline, you know.
it comes down to time, and Jacob meets them in the road.
the
They have a
road.
little tussle in the woods,
That was hot.
and
I-
I know it was. Edward has a ton of they've really gussied Rob up for this. He's got so much lipstick on, and he
Oh my!
says
Misbehaving.
you gotta marry me.
I
and then she
screamed at
goes-
that part.
And on that,
Everyone
is
screamed. It's
crazy.
And her little like beat, and then she's like,
she goes. She does that open mouth breathing that she was constantly doing, and everyone was screaming.
I was
I
mad.
knew it was coming. I've seen this movie 800 times. I screamed.
It's crazy.
Because
It's crazy.
he says like, if you want me to do it, like if you want me to do it, because this is when they start their barter and exchange, and then all of Eclipse is just a negotiation
Mhm.
And she's like already expressed
for
at least
fucking
in the
because she wants to
books-
fuck so bad.
Well, yeah.
Oh yeah.
And she's right
so
for that.
horny.
She's
Um,
She's the
right for that.
horniest female protagonist in a young adult novel.
I love that.
will
I
give
do
her
love that she's like,
Well,
"Rah."
So true.
And we're gonna move on to our beautiful segments, which we start off by saying, how could this movie be gayer? It's a very important question to ask. I would like to start. Jacob could have been me, a girl. And it would have been really
Jaca.
interesting to have Jaca there and have it be I mean, we know that what later on we find out that these shape-shifting werewolf people can be women as well. So
Mhm.
Jacob could have been a girl, and they could have been this was like, wow,
That would have
I'm
really complicated
That would have been
the
with
a lot
this
friendship, or is
friendship.
it more
Yeah.
elements?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Uh-huh. And
But
Just saying.
Mormon Stephanie Meyer would not have gone
Yeah,
there, but she should
it's-
have gone
we're leaving her
there.
out of the equation right now.
Yeah.
She wouldn't have made anything gay.
Yeah. Well, as discussed, also, of course, there is the Charlie Carlisle romance
Yeah.
that is very much canon and present in the books. I think also Rosalie, I mean, I feel like she is a lesbian. She just is in love with Emmett. So it's like that's like her exception, you know what I mean? But I feel like
Fair.
she not that she's around much in this movie. I don't know, there's so many characters that want to be mean lesbians.
I mean, Alice is very gay.
She's giving gay.
her and Bella. for
Yeah.
That's the
sure.
thing. Like, this movie could have been a lot gayer if it had pursued the actual relationship, the romantic relationship between Alice and Bella that runs throughout all
There's-
of these.
Yeah,
also,
there too.
especially with the letters in the
Yeah.
movie, because that's not a thing in the book. Like that
Yeah.
makes it all the more.
That's my
like,
emotional
hot and heavy.
confidant.
Yeah.
I follow this. Her name is Mary Alice Brandon on Instagram. She's like an amazing Alice cosplayer, and she's always doing like they'll recreate like her and the girl who plays Bella will recreate the hug, the reuniting hug from New Moon, but they'll like kiss and stuff. Like they're always doing like most of it is like
That's the good stuff.
most of it is traditional, but every once in a while they'll do like a queer coded type thing.
Yeah.
And it's great.
No, it's very real.
So that's how it could have been gayer.
I think if Edward was a woman also, that could be really interesting. Like, that's part of the old school sensibilities and like the resisting and like I'm damned, my soul is damned. So that's like a lot of really interesting subtext you could play with.
Yeah,
But-
because the gender roles are a little bit flipped as it's like traditional gender roles are flipped right now as it stands, right? Bella's the one who's like,
Mhm.
let's
She's the
fuck,
horny
let's fuck,
one.
let's fuck.
Yeah.
And he's like, no,
Yeah.
my virtue,
My
your virtue, all of our
virtue.
virtues.
Exactly.
So yeah, if they'd both been women, how would that have played out?
Also, the entire Team Edward, Team Jacob, like they could have just been a throuple.
That's right, Jacob and Edward.
And they could.
And they're giving throuple a little bit in Eclipse.
Exactly.
Really,
I'm
the
like,
cave
what
scene especially.
Here's the thing,
Yeah.
if I was
When they're
Bella, I'd
all
be like, what if we
cuddling?
leaned into this?
Has anyone even considered this? Would you now? It could make everybody at least a little bit happy, but me very happy.
I also think the Volturi are like extremely gay. Like
Yeah.
they tell that story about Carlisle living with them for a while, and I there's the fandom
Confirmed bachelor for
the
300
fandom
years.
very much thinks that Aro and Carlisle were like a thing because he lived there with them for 40 years, and they had and Aro was constantly trying to get him to drink.
God,
He would like
back.
he would come into the library and just like heave a dead body onto the library table and be like, Carlisle, drink it, eat it, and Carlisle would be like, no, I'm a vegetarian. Like they were playing mind games with each other and stuff. This is all canon. It's in the illustrated guide.
It's so important for us to be doing this right now because this is like the least gay vampire property in the history of vampire properties.
It's so gay.
It's still so gay, but it's like the least. They're usually
gay.
They're usually so overtly gay. Like there's like
it's
Interview with the Vampire.
Yeah, it's gay.
Yeah, there's nothing on the page.
It's one of those things where it's like you've been alive for hundreds of years. You've never even branched out or thought about it at least a little. Like
Just
it
a
hasn't
little
occurred to
bit.
you at any point that like societal rules don't apply to
Alice
you.
has.
You're
People.
yeah.
Alice has.
Alice has had lots of visions of decisions that could have been made.
Yeah.
Is all I'm saying.
Alice has.
Alice is finding a way to
all sorts
have
of
fun.
visions. That's right. Yeah. She's like, if I made this decision, it would look like this.
We made this choice. Yeah.
That's a really
She's just
interesting way to
sitting
think
there.
about her power.
you
Edward is like,
imagine?
stop. Oh my God.
Oh my God, Edward's like,
She's
what are
just
you
sitting there.
doing?
She's like, I'm gonna fuck that woman, and then she just sits there and she's
Thinks
like,
about it.
nice.
Awesome.
That's
I feel
wow.
like
Her
Jasper
power.
would be
buff.
very on board and have no issues with it whatsoever.
Jasper's only interested in being a Confederate soldier. He doesn't care what else is going on.
Wait,
Battle
did you-
scars.
Wait,
My
My
God.
favorite
was it
line
your
of the
video?
movie.
Oh, sorry.
What?
Keep going, Sydney. What did
Oh
you
no,
say?
I was just saying how
Battle
battle
scars.
scars.
Did you just make a video about Jackson Rathbone?
That
trying to-
motherfucker. Yeah.
Oh my God, you say it then. I just saw it. I
Jackson
saw your
Rathbone
video.
has lost his goddamn mind. I haven't checked.
He's so
up,
hot, but what is he doing?
I haven't checked up on him
Not
lately.
in the
but
Jasper wig.
over the weekend, not like into last week as well. He started campaigning to like make a Jasper origin story film, and
No.
on
I
Twitter.
love Confederate soldier protagonist.
Exactly. And so I made a video initially being like, sir, your backstory is being a Confederate soldier. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? And everyone was, not everyone, there were a lot of simps on Twitter being like, yeah, we want it. Oh my God, yes. But there were a number of people being like, sir.
I want to see Maria.
Yeah, no, they were all saying that. But they were like, a number of people were like,
Right.
sir, you're a fucking Confederate soldier. And so then he started arguing and being like, but that's so he's like, does Jasper not
That's
deserve
so
remorse?
reductive. It's not like he believes in the ideology.
That's what he said. He was like, we don't know why Jasper joined and we don't know why he left. And it's like,
Is there a
fucking
good
do.
reason?
we do know, but we also
Either
know.
way, it's still really bad. Even if they were like,
He was the local, okay? You can't help where you're born.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just join
But that's not
Confederate
true.
Army.
He lied. He lied about his age so he could get in earlier.
I want to be in so bad, you guys.
And then he didn't even choose to leave. He got turned by a vampire because he's a fucking
do you think
flop.
do you think Jackson Rathbone like knows?
No.
Did
No,
he
I
know
think
what
he's
the
just, like, being
prequel
a-
story was?
I think he's being a classic white dude. And I guess he's had like, he's comparing it to
He's
like
had
the
to
battle.
put himself in his shoes and empathize with
Well,
whatever choices Jasper might have made
He said
as an act to her.
I think he's comparing it. He started to try to compare it to like he battled with alcoholism or whatever, and like he claimed that when he met his wife, that like was his redemption. And so like like he's talking about, it's not the same.
He was bad until he met Alice, who said, "We're gonna be together, so you have to be a vegetarian now." And he went, "I guess."
Right. So yeah. So like, stay tuned. Everyone, go check out his Twitter because I think he tried to put it to bed, but people were like hey man.
Girl, no.
So
Hey, girl.
I
I
loved
love
it.
He has one really, really good episode of Criminal Minds. It's like one of the best episodes of Criminal Minds ever. So I
Has it
love
in his
him.
Twitter
Even
bio.
yeah, it's really good. Criminal Minds is my favorite show besides
Yeah.
X-Files. So
Yeah.
there we are. But yeah, that shouldn't happen. Let's not greenlight that. Let's greenlight anything else.
No,
good
it's
features.
not getting
Him
greenlit.
as a character is such a mess.
Such a
His
mess.
power is empathy, and then he's like, "But I would eat everyone, though."
And
I did a lot of bad things, and it was really fine.
He was fighting to uphold slavery.
Yeah.
And I never had a second thought about it.
No, he has no remorse.
Which is one of those things where it's like they say the power comes to a degree from your human life.
Yeah, he was able to influence people.
Like he was really empathetic to the slave owners who wanted to make money, and actually nobody's thinking about them, you guys. It's not fair.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm so sorry, but we got to move on to
What
our
a
next
mess.
segment here. So, no more gay thoughts for now. But now it's time to ask the age-old other question, which is where would Matthew Lillard fit into this film? I think he would naturally fit very well.
I DM'd one idea to Sarah already that I would like to present just for our Matthew Lillard spotted for 1 second only part of the segment, which is he could have been the person in the crowd in Volterra that Bella pushes out of the way when she's running.
Oh,
Perfect.
amazing place for him. Wow.
He's just there for 1 second. He's
That's a really good place for him.
I love that
think,
for him.
I think he could have been in Face Punch.
Oh,
That could have been his voice.
Yeah.
That would have been a really good cameo.
That
Right? They
would've
showed the
been
poster for a
so
second. I don't
good.
They
think we
do.
see
They
the
could have
face
put
of
him on
anyone
the
poster.
They could have put him
But
on the
they
poster.
could have.
Yeah, they could have.
They could have.
put him on the
And
poster.
it looked like a Fast and Furious knockoff, by the way, with the
It did.
poster,
It did.
which I
Face
appreciated.
punch. I tried
Um,
to take a screenshot of it when I was watching it earlier, but it didn't work. But it has the logo, the tagline on it is something like "Let's do this" or something like that.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's let's do this.
Really love it.
Yeah, I think that would be a good one for him. My immediate thought was Charlie, but no one can take Billy Burke from me. You can
Yeah.
kind of from my cold dead hands.
Yeah.
So
We could
I
also
think-
he could be like randomly cliff diving at the cliffs.
Yeah.
I think
would
we
love
could
to
add
see him
another
as-
character and give Charlie like a deputy or something that's like a
Ooh,
funny
Yeah.
he's part
guy,
of
and
the
it's
search
Matthew
party
Lillard.
for Bella.
I love that.
He could be a good deputy. Yeah, on the hunt when they're doing the hunt for the
Right?
wolves or
He's
the
like
bears.
a Barney
or whatever the fuck.
Fife character.
Yes.
Who's like a silly
Yes.
little goofy guy.
Catherine
I love
Hardwicke
that.
is really the one that got good racially diverse casting for the teens. But if Stephanie Meyer had her way and everybody was white still, then young Matthew Lillard would have been a really great Eric.
He would have.
Mm,
He would. Yeah,
Like
he
he's
would
a
have.
really fun,
He
goofy
would have been a good
guy.
Eric.
he
You're
would have
right.
been a good Garrick. He would have. That's a
Where
really
it's
good
like he
one.
doesn't believe that Angela saw something, and then Bella's like, "No, my dad's people have died. There are reports of this," and he's like, "Yeah, girl, nobody ever told my girl ever again." Like, yeah, guys, and that's what I've said this whole time.
That's good. That is
He's so
good.
funny.
I can see that quite well.
I love those.
That guy, however, that actor is fabulous in that role. I love
He's
him
really
so
Yeah.
much.
good.
He,
Yeah.
He's really
he brings
good.
so much pizzazz.
Okay,
What's
cool. I
his
think those
name?
are some
Justin
great
Chon.
placements for Matthew. That brings us to dumb bitch, who is the dumb bitch of this movie.
Just while
And
we're on this page, small nomination for Mike Newton.
Yeah.
He just is a dumb bitch.
I mean,
who? Oh, Mike. I thought you said Meg. I was like, who the fuck is Meg Newton? That's
That's
how
him
it
if
could
he
be
was a
gay.
girl.
Meg
That's how
Newton.
it could be
Pathetic
gay.
lesbian. Yeah.
Mike's Meg and was just like hounding Bella all movie long.
I feel like there's
And Stephanie
only-
Meyer might do that if she's like a little predatory lesbian, because then it's like, see, that's wrong.
I feel like there's only one. I mean, there's only
Is it
one answer to
Edward?
this.
Yes. Yeah, it's
It's
Edward.
It's
Mhm. Especially with you
categorically Edward.
revealing that in Midnight Sun,
Yes.
he learns that exactly this
He's
is
a
going
dumb
to happen.
bitch.
He's
Yes.
such a
still
dumb bitch. He's like
"It's
the
gonna
dumb
be
bitch of all
fine."
time.
Like, I've never seen more of a dumb bitch than Edward in this movie. Like, he sabotages himself. All of this pain, everything.
He's like, don't do anything reckless. Girl, She doesn't have to do anything reckless for 1 million reckless things to happen to her.
He leaves her alone with Victoria.
He wasn't even
He's
thinking
like,
about Victoria.
Alice will see if she changes her mind and goes after Bella. Well, she didn't.
Well,
he didn't think about her like anything.
He didn't anticipate that Victoria would want to hunt Bella. He thought that Victoria would come for them. Because he's a dumb bitch.
Because he's a dumb fucking bitch. He left her unprotected. Just like Laurent said, he must not care for you very much if he left you all alone, unprotected. Come on, girl.
Or he's a dumb bitch.
Yeah. He's a dumb bitch.
He's a
dumb fucking
He's
bitch.
truly
out there in Rio
dumb.
with his nipple out,
And
crying all
so
the time.
bitch.
You created this situation for yourself.
I don't even know that there's like another candidate.
No, it's him.
Yeah.
Well,
Tim.
soft nom for Bella jumping in the water with her jeans
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
shoes
no,
on.
she's
That's just
okay.
a soft nom.
She's for sure a dumb bitch in this, but
She's not the dumb bitch of the
No.
movie.
Of
And also-
New Moon, it's Edward.
there's so much mental illness happening too that I don't want to,
Yeah.
I definitely
She's
used to
having
think she's-
visions.
She's fighting through the
Yeah.
fog.
She's really struggling, but Edward is a fucking dumb bitch.
Dumbest of all time,
God.
categorically.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that brings us to our knives out of 5s. So,
Mm.
Chelsea, you've mentioned that people didn't like New Moon, and I think that that's false and wrong, but tell me.
People liked New Moon. It's just that Twilight as a franchise had a lot of haters. And I think that is
Yes.
truly what happened. But on IMDb, the movie has a 4.8 out of 10.
Come
And on
on.
Rotten Tomatoes, it has 28% rotten from critics, which is pretty low. Audiences gave it a fresh rating, but still only 61%, which tells me, again, there were a lot of review bombers like bringing it down from what would have been 90% if you were only asking the Twilight fans.
Yeah.
That said, while it also got nominated for Razzies for Worst Screen Couple, and it is actually kind of throuple-ish, because it's for Kristen Stewart and either Robert Pattinson or they wrote Taylor What's-His-Fang, which is like, okay, you didn't even watch the movie. He is a wolf. And it's What's with a Z also, which is like, you guys are doing a lot here. But at the 2010 Razzies, they were nominated for Worst Screen Couple, Worst Supporting Actor for Robert Pattinson, Worst Remake / Ripoff Sequel, and Worst Screenplay. However, at the 2010 Kids' Choice Awards, they won Favorite Movie Actor for Taylor Lautner. They were nominated for Favorite Movie. They won Cutest Couple for Taylor Lautner and Kristen Stewart, which is interesting. The kids were Team Jacob.
Interesting.
And they were nominated for Robert Pattinson
They're smart.
and Kristen Stewart, which is how you know they're Team Jacob, because they were both nominated and only Jacob won one. At the 2010 MTV Movie and TV Awards, it won Best Movie, Best Male Performance for Robert Pattinson, was also nominated for Best Male Performance for Taylor Lautner, and it won Best Female Performance for Kristen Stewart and Best Kiss. And then there were literally so many tween choice awards that I stopped writing them down, but there was a shit ton in there as well. Like I'm looking, there's a list of 5 that auto display, and then it's like click to show 6 more. So that's 11. But it includes choice movie Lip Lock, which it won. It won movie Villain for Victoria, which is so interesting because you like get 2 glimpses of her basically, and that's it. So it's almost like, is she the villain of this movie? Kind of no, but also I guess sure. Nominated for Choice Movie Actress for Kristen Stewart, and Fantasy Choice Movie Male Scene Stealer for Kellen Lutz as Emmett, which again, also only there for 2 seconds.
He's literally not in the movie.
He really stole that
literally
scene.
not. He does
Choice
say,
Movie Scene Stealer
I
for
put it in
Ashley
your car
Greene.
already.
Yeah. That and he deserves that win for that. Alice wins, but that is more deserved. Dakota Fanning also nominated. Anna Kendrick also nominated. Won Choice Movie
seems like a lot.
Fantasy. Nominated for Choice Movie Actor Robert Pattinson. And
Yes.
Taylor Lautner won for Choice Movie Actor Fantasy as well.
So like people loved this. Obviously the fans loved it.
Famously a very popular franchise and movie.
Yeah,
famously
fans loved
so.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna go first and just say I'm giving it 5 knives. I love this movie so much. This is the best one. This is the one that I felt the most strongly about when I was a child because it gave me all of the agony I was looking for and the pining, which is something that is so important to me to pine. And it also made me switch allegiances and start to notice the glaring red flags with Edward, which I think was very important for me to realize, at least at some point, because I did the
You can
classic
have the
thing
fantasy,
that I
but you should be
do.
aware in real life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did the classic thing that I do with everything that I love. Sarah, you're learning about this now. I love something with my whole heart, and then I hate it vehemently for years, and then I come back around. So we're in the come back around phase. But there was a dark time where I was like, Twilight tells you to want these horrible things in relationships and it's terrible, blah blah blah. So yeah, I was a yum yucker for a while. But I stand
But
by
back
what
to
I said in the
Yum.
past. But back to yum. I love this movie. I think it's beautiful. The music is gorgeous. And Taylor Lautner, my sweet, sweet cutie boy. Love you so much. So Team Jacob for life. Who's next?
Go. I'll do 4.5 out of 5 because I'm an Edward girly for life, and there is
Fair.
And his
unfortunately
presence is low in
not
this
a lot of
movie.
Edward. But and also I like to think of vampires as cats and the werewolf as dogs. And even though I have 3 dogs, I am definitely a cat person, and so they just like relate to me a little bit more. And I love this movie. It is so good. Do we have to ever do Eclipse, or can we just
No.
We can
skip to
skip.
Breaking
No,
Dawn?
skip
Okay,
it.
great.
Just skip this Breaking Dawn part 2, honestly.
Yeah, right?
Please.
Oh my God. Breaking
Skip.
Dawn is awful. The first part one
Oh
is
my
an
God.
atrocity. It's
Yeah,
such a
It's an
fucking bad
atrocity.
movie.
Oh
No,
my
it's
God.
so you get
did
the
not need
wedding
to do
dream
that.
sequence is the only good part, and then the rest of the movie is like very snoozeville.
They didn't need to make it. They should just made one movie.
Yes.
Yeah. Seriously.
They needed 10 minutes to show her emaciated body breaking down and
Disgusting.
rewriting itself as beautiful.
No, who's next? Who's next?
I'll go five knives. This
Yes.
is and I tend to be like pretty I've been on kind of like movie podcasts before where I've actually never rated this a 5 out of 5 before, but as I kind of like the longer I'm like on my Twilight journey here, like New Moon really is a real
one of the tops.
Just like I've come to a place where I can say it's good even beyond the Twilight Saga. I just think it's a beautiful movie. It's brought me so much comfort. It looks beautiful. I love how warm it looks. It makes me feel warm. I am an Edward girly. He's not really in it, but I think that when he is in it, Robert Pattinson is quite good. He's getting more comfortable. I love the Volturi. So this movie is great, and I love it. It's very special to me.
Yeah, I mean, I think this movie, part of what is so, I mean, I love the first one so much. I think the first one is so iconic, but it is kind of like doing its own thing, very separate from the rest of the franchise. This movie is really like the beginning of the franchise in many ways.
Yeah.
And I think it makes so many really strong adaptational choices with the book material. Like, the way they show the dream in the beginning where she's like, I'm old looking in the mirror, I think is so well done. I love the way they do that scene.
Incredible.
It's a possibility. Circle around on the chair, like literally iconic, legendary. Nobody's doing it like her, and nobody ever will. I just think the montages with Jacob are so beautiful. It's like you're right. The movie itself visually is stunning, and they do a lot of fun things, like when she's in the water and she's like, Edward is appearing next to her, and then it's like as she's dragged away, like Edward dissolves and disappears.
So
like,
beautiful.
That's gorgeous. I just think they slate it as an adaptation, and it is a hard movie to adapt in a lot of ways. And I do think Ghost Edward is like a little silly to look at, but there's also like, what better way to do it? Because I think even if you were just doing voiceover, some people are gonna be like, what was that? Who was that? What was that? Because in the book she can tell you it's Edward's voice. I'd know it anywhere. But like in the movie, you're just gonna hear it for 1 second and be like, what's going on? But I don't know. I just think it's great. I think it is really strong for Team Jacob fans. I think it really set up the love triangle, which is not a love triangle at all, in a really strong way for that to be like the marketing narrative, which is what they needed it to be. So they really, I just think they knocked it out of the park. So I'm also going to give 5 knives.
Hell yeah.
Yay.
Oh my God. Twilight Saga New Moon, y'all. It's just beautiful. Well, before we switch focus what we're doing next, Sarah, would you like to tell the whole world where they can find more of you?
Oh my God. Yeah, sure. So you can find me on TikTok and on Instagram at Sarah Elizabeth _talks. I also have a podcast called Actually Obsessed. And so we just talk each week about it's me and my best friend. We just talk each week about a different thing that we're obsessed with. You can find us. Yeah. So it's like all sorts of like random shit. Like we just did, what's the last episode that dropped? Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire.
Oh, the sports one.
The sports one. Yeah, but
I love that one. I was just watching that on the
Cedric
plane.
one.
That is the Cedric one.
It's the Cedric one, yeah. So
Yeah.
we've done a bunch of we've done Gone Girl. We recapped the Mormon Wives show. So yeah, we do all sorts of stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so you can find us at Actually Obsessed Pod on Instagram. And yeah, and I'll have a book out next year, and I can't say what the title is or anything yet. Unfortunately, I don't know why. Like it's done. I wrote it. Like it's with my publisher.
But
It's a secret. You're being so mysterious, though, and that's very cool and mysterious.
No, it's not cool at all. I would really like to say at least what it's called, but
we won't tell anybody, Sarah.
Basically, it's just like about kind of like why Twilight is great and why the fandom loves Twilight, and about fandom, but also kind of like all the things about Twilight that are actually like bad as well.
Sure.
Wow, I'm gonna love your book.
Yeah, so I think it's like it will be for people who are Twilight fans and people who don't know anything about Twilight and people who hate Twilight. Hopefully, it can bring everyone together. But yeah, so that's where you can find me, and I appreciate you guys having me on so much.
Of course, oh my God, there could never be a better person to kick off our most marketable event we've ever done, the Werewolf versus Vampire Seasonal Depression event. Don't forget.
Always so honored to talk about. Whenever anybody asks me to talk about New Moon, I'm like, God, what an honor. What an honor.
We're honored to have you, honestly.
Thank you.
And I honestly really absorb the information from your videos. I realized as we were like talking through the movie today, I was like, oh my God, I can just picture all of your TikToks like popping up in my head. I was like, oh my gosh. I love them. I love your content. Seriously.
Oh, thank you so much.
It's hilarious. It's perfect. So
thank you. Thanks.
Anyway, the werewolf and the vampire shit will continue next week. And we doing a movie that is very near and dear to my heart. We discovered maybe my first horror movie that I ever saw. I thought it was Signs, but this might predate it. So if so, I lied on an episode where I was talking about my first horror movie.
Monica once again,
30 minutes, and I was lying for 30 minutes. But I don't know, and there's no historian to say. So I thought it was Signs, but actually it might have been Van Helsing, 2004. So yeah, we're starting with 2 very, very strong werewolf versus vampire movies here, and you will get to see Hugh Jackman being incredibly sexy with a gorgeous hair.
Strong depression movies too.
And Kate Beckinsale, also incredibly gorgeous hair. There's a lot going on, and it's fantastic. And we actually already recorded the episode, so I already know we had a good time. And it's an in-person episode, so you're gonna have a fucking blast seeing us be absolutely insane. No facts, just vibes, babes, just the way you like it. But why not, while you're at it, follow us on social media. We're at spooky_Tuesday on pretty much everything except for Facebook and Tumblr, where we are at Spooky Tuesday Pod. Put .com after that, spookytuesdaypod.com, and that is our website. See beautiful photos of us. Find out information, all the information that there is about us anywhere. It's there. Look it up. And also, we're on YouTube, and there was a lot going on today. We have a beautiful 2-piece that Sarah here is wearing from the Bershka Twilight collection. So pretty exciting. And we have Victoria here in the flesh. Chelsea has Victoria.
Sparkles as well.
Sparkle shirt.
Ooh.
And
You can't
I
really see it,
was
but
Femme Jacob with both hairstyles.
yeah, she
And-
had a hair change. So
and Sydney has
don't
her
you want to see that moment?
beautiful Rob Pat shirt and just looking like a cutie as usual. Enjoying the
Gorgeous.
last few days of Sydney Palooza, her birthday week. So it's very exciting. So yeah, all of
Exactly.
that on our YouTube channel. Please subscribe. And so at the end of the day, I have to say thank you, Sarah, for being on the podcast. Thank you, listeners, for listening. And we will see you next Tuesday.
Bye, spookies.
Spooky Tuesday was created by Monica Height, Sydney Thompson, and Chelsea Duff, and edited by Sydney Thompson. Our gorgeously spooky tunes are all thanks to Tamara Simons, who you can follow on Instagram at Great18. That's GR818_. And our podcast art is by Ryan Brom, who you can follow on Instagram at Ryan Brom Art. That's RyanBrommArt. Learn more about Spooky Tuesday at spookytuesdaypod.com and subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/spooky_Tuesday.